the talent, and the outtakes. American Idol Rewind, Saturdays on Superstation WGN. The following is a presentation of WGN Sports.
We greet you once again from Denver, Colorado on a picturesque afternoon. We're set for Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN Sports, and today the Cubs end a stretch of 20 games in 20 days as they take on Matt Holliday and the Colorado Rockies. Hi again, everyone. Alongside Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. The Cubs have taken 2 of the first 3 in this series, but Bob, for the first time in 2 weeks, the Cubs are more than a game out of first place.
And you know, Len, I think the Cubs are going to look back at this road trip and look at the missed opportunities. You're going to get a look at the standings here in the National League Central. Cubs a game and a half out as we start play today, but had an opportunity in Houston against a subpar Roy Oswalt. They had a real good chance against Woody Williams, and again last night against Josh Hogg. Had him on the ropes early, couldn't put him away.
You see the numbers on the road trip. Even if the Cubs win today, it will be their first sub-500 road trip since late May.
You know, going to Houston and Colorado, you know it's going to be a tough trip. Both those teams play very well in their home ballpark. You'd like to salvage a win today and go home at 3-4.
Well, the tone setter is that starting pitcher, and for the first time in his career, Sean Marshall will face the Rockies.
Well, and you'd like to believe Sean Marshall has something for the Rockies. You need to stay out of the middle of the plate against them, and for the most part, Sean Marshall has shown good command on both sides of the plate. Really need to keep the ball away from those big right-handers in the Rockies lineup.
A bit of an unfamiliar foe. Right-hander Tim Horicula just called up will start for the Rockies. The Cubs and the Rockies will get it going next.
We're in the 7th circle of hell here. It's too much. She's turned the coffee shop into a gay bar.
Does Hank always get so worked up over nothing?
Just most of the time.
Let's say you and me run down Main Street with our pants off. How'd be fun? Ta-da!
He's like a young Trudeau.
Do you want to introduce me?
Yeah, to toothpaste.
Hey, look at us. We're identical.
We're not identical. I have different pants than you.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into your pants.
You're not going with that kind of whining.
Okay, class. If you're in the South, you say,
Hey, feller, give me a Bud Light.
hey, fella, give me a Bud Light. In New York, you say, hey, give me a Bud Light. You got a problem with that?
Bud Light, you got a problem with that.
In East LA, you say, give me a Bud Light, Holmes.
Give me a Bud Light, Holmes.
More importantly, if somebody asks you for a Bud Light, you say, don't speak English.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Bud Light?
Bud Light,
Bud Light.
Bud Light.
That's cold.
Because Geico sounds like gecko. That's it. That's the only reason I'm here. The fact is, if Geico sounded like some other animal, like, I don't know, a puma, sure enough, there'd be some adorable little cat sitting here talking about Geico's low rates.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
You can't even imagine the pressure. I mean, I've literally got like 2 seconds to capture your attention while simultaneously informing you that you could save hundreds on car insurance by switching to Geico. Quite frankly, I don't think it's even possible.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Hey, Cubs fans, keep your eye on the ball. Every time a Cubs player hits a homer at Wrigley, you could be a winner. It's the Southwest Airlines How Far Did It Fly Home Run Contest. After every Cubs homer, write down the distance along with your name and address and send it to WGN TV. 10 winners will receive 2 round-trip tickets to any Southwest Airlines destination. For every Cubs homer, ask yourself, how far did it fly? From Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the Chicago Cubs.
Chicago Cubs baseball, brought to you by refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it. Comcast, catch more Cubs home games in HD on Comcast Digital Cable. Call 1-888-4-BEST-TV today. The Illinois Lottery, no matter how you play the Illinois Lottery. Have a ball. By Pepsi, your world, your Pepsi. And by Southwest Airlines. Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, Southwest can get you there with over 3,000 nonstop daily flights to over 60 destinations. Visit southwest.com today.
Welcome back to Denver as the Cubs wrap up this series and road trip. 2-4 on the trip. The best they can hope for is 3-4. Won the first 2 in this series and were clubbed last night 15-2. Let's check out Lou Piniella's lineup, brought to you by Pepsi. Your world, your Pepsi. And he's going to stick with the same lineup again today, 1 through 8. And it certainly worked the first 2 games. Unfortunately, last night, just a couple of runs, and the Cubs really struggled with less than 2 outs.
Well, let's take a look at the Rockies defensively today. Clint Hurdle with some changes in his lineup. Matt Holliday once again in left field. Clint Barmas in center. Ryan Spielborg's over in right field. Atkins at third. Tulowitzki at short. Matsui at second base. The icon of the Rockies, Todd Helton, back in the lineup today after missing the first 3 games of this series. Geronimo Heel behind the plate today for the right-hander Tim Hericula. If you've never heard of Tim Hericula, don't feel bad. Those are his overall numbers for his major league career. He's been pitching in Korea the last couple of seasons. He has bounced around considerably, the very definition of a journeyman.
36 years old and really a stopgap guy today as he deals a strike to Ryan Theriot. Jason Hirsch on the disabled list with a broken leg. Feathered over Helton, but it drops foul. Get the umpires for you today. Chris Guccione, who was born here in the state of Colorado, will work the plate. The crew chief is Ed Montague, Bill Miller, Marvin Hudson at second and third respectively. 90 degrees as we get going. A dry heat.
Very little wind. Wind hasn't been any factor whatsoever in this series.
Lined right at the shortstop Tulowitzki for the first out. Well, the Cubs made a roster move today. Cliff Floyd has been placed on the bereavement list for the 2nd time this year to be with his father Cornelius, who unfortunately is gravely ill, and we'll certainly keep him in our thoughts and prayers. So he has flown back to Chicago. Darrell Ward activated from the 15-day disabled list. He was on with a calf strain, and he is available this afternoon. The right calf strain put Ward on the DL on July 20th, but he's back. There's a strike on Jock Jones, who's had a huge series, 8 for 14 with a home run, 2 doubles, and 6 knocked in.
Excuse me, Len, as you might expect from a 36-year-old journeyman pitcher, Hericula will invent pitches out there on the mound if necessary. Sinks his fastball, cuts it, throws a little curveball, a slider, straight changeup. Has a little herky-jerky deception in his motion to the plate. I'm talking to some people from the Rockies. They say that surprisingly he seems to miss the barrel of the bat a lot. He has a little bit of late movement. One of those comfortable collars, so to speak. You think you were right on him and you just don't quite hit it as good as you thought you did.
Here's a seeing eye single for Jock Jones, his 9th hit of the weekend.
Boy, for a team that's been starving for some power, Matt Merton and Jock Jones have supplied it in this series. Jock Jones hit a tape measure home run on Friday, deep into the night in right field. One of many times Jock Jones was on the bases in this series. He's been a busy man offensively.
Derek Lee slices it foul out of play. Tim Hericula actually made his major league debut as a Seattle Mariner. He was a 34th round pick of the Mariners way back when, 1992. And made his debut in '95 pitching for Lou Piniella. And a toss over to first. Basically, he was named their starter today after the ball game last night. They waited and waited. Elmer Descends, a veteran right-hander, has been signed to a minor league contract. It's possible he could slot in to this spot, which opened up when Hirsch went on the disabled list. But for today, it's Auricula. That one missed. 3 balls and a strike on Lee. So his major league debut, 1 appearance in '95. Then his lone major league start was in '96 with Seattle. He didn't get back to the major leagues until 1999, just 7 relief appearances with Boston. And in the 1 year he spent here in Colorado, 55 appearances in 2004 as Lee walks. So 2 on for Matt Merton. And then his previous experience prior to today in the big leagues with Oakland. 8 games in 2005. So as you said, he has bounced around a lot.
And you can see already in the early going, he's a nibbler. His fastball will sit in the mid-80s. Occasionally he'll jump it up to 87 or 88, but usually his fastball is going to be about 85 miles an hour, so he definitely has to keep it out of the middle of the plate. It's imperative that the Cubs hitters be very patient today.
Born in West Palm Beach, Florida. Attended Florida Atlantic. Swing and a miss by Matt Merton. Bob, you look at the game last night. Cubs did get a run in the first, but they didn't get their first base runner until 2 were out. They got a run in the 4th inning, but didn't have a runner until 2 outs. They threatened in the 7th, but didn't get a rally going until there were 2 outs. The Cubs did not have a base runner with less than 2 outs until the 9th inning. That'll be 5-3 on the double play as Atkins gets it across to Helton, and that ends the threat. So Sean Marshall will take the ball. The Cubs fail to score. We'll be back.
Thanks, folks. I gotta get going. Cindy, keep my plane ready a little later. We're not finished yet.
Cindy, I got stuck on a client call. Cindy, something else just came up.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Cindy.
Your plane is ready.
Thanks, Cindy. You're the best.
With so many convenient nonstop flights, you'll feel like you have your own company plane. You can count on Southwest Airlines to get you there on time with friendly customer service.
You are now free to move about the country.
Hey, over here. Why don't you switch to our network? We're just like them.
Are you reliable?
Excellent question.
How about for email or downloading music?
Why not?
A phone is only as good as the network it's on.
That is a problem, and we are working on it.
And only America's most reliable will let you start with a test drive. Verizon Wireless. It's the network.
At eHarmony, we match you across 29 dimensions of compatibility. And right now, not only can you log on to eHarmony.com and get your personality profile, you can also review your matches all for free. Aren't you curious to see who you would be matched up with according to compatibility?
He loves me for me.
Visit eHarmony.com and discover what so many singles have found. Log on today and review your eHarmony matches absolutely free. eHarmony.com.
Rockies come in with a 60-56 record, same as the Cubs, both tied for 4th in the wild card, 2 out. Matsui, Tulowitzki, and Holiday. Todd Helton with his first action in the series. Atkins, Spilborghs, Barmas in center. Geronimo Gil catching Tim Auricula.
And here's how the Cubs take the field defensively for the finale of the road trip, brought to you by Pepsi, your world, your Pepsi. Same lineup we've seen every game here in Colorado. Merton, Piet, and Jones across the outfield. DeRosa, Terrio on the left side. Fontenot, Lee on the right side. Jason Kendall doing the catching today for left-hander Sean Marshall. Sean Marshall's last start, he was hooked up against Woody Williams down in Houston. That ball game, the Cubs really let opportunities get away early, and Williams settled in and ended up pitching 6 strong innings. Sean Marshall went 5 1/3, gave up 7 hits and 5 runs in that game, but you have to believe it would have been a different outcome had the Cubs been able to cash in some of those early runs.
First time he's ever pitched in this park, and then the first time he's faced the Rockies. 1-1 on the red-hot Kaz Matsui. 4 consecutive multi-hit games. He's hitting .514 during a 9-game hitting streak. Switch hitter, and he lines out to short. Look, the final was 15-2, and you may say there wasn't one defining play. Well, there was. For the Cubs, at least, as they tried to make a comeback. You knew about the grand slam hit by Jamie Carroll, but in the 7th inning, it was 7-2. And Matt Merton trying to beat out a ground ball, a high chopper. Carroll just threw him out. Very close play at first base. If he had been safe, it would have been 7-3, bases loaded, and the tying run would have come to the plate. And think there would have been a much different finish.
Baseball's such a game of momentum, and it appeared the Cubs had it working in their favor right there until that call at first base. And in defense of Chris Guccione, the first base umpire last night, the home plate umpire today, we looked at the replay several times, and it was still a very, very close play. But it appeared that Merton just did get in ahead of the throw.
2 strikes on Tulowitzki, who has hit .320 against the Cubs this year with a home run and 8 RBIs. Tied his career high last night with 4 hits and also 3 RBIs. Milwaukee with an early 1-0 lead in Houston. Cubs a game and a half out in the Central, and as I mentioned, 2 back in a wild card. Called strike 3.
Good breaking ball early from Sean Marshall. We saw Rich Hill struggle with his curveball last night. Just couldn't seem to get it down into the zone consistently. Hopefully this bodes well for Sean Marshall. You can see Tulowitzki's weight at all shifted out onto his front foot. Was badly fooled by that off-speed breaking ball.
Now Matt Holliday, who has been fairly quiet in the series, 2 for 10. 3 walks. He has scored twice, but has not yet driven in a run. So still stuck on 92 RBIs. Fouled back. One other scoring note last night, and people do like to keep score at home. It was a 9th inning play. Jamie Carroll was charged with an error on a ball hit by Ryan Theriot after the ball game. The official score decided it was a hit, so that made Theriot 2 for 5 instead of 1 for 5, and erased what would have been the 4th Rockies error of the series. And Matt Holliday hit by a pitch. Keeps the inning alive for Todd Helton. I asked Ryan about that scoring decision today, and I don't think he even knew that they changed it. So his batting average actually went up overnight.
That's the sound of a baseball hitting a player in the toe. That's going to leave a mark.
Third hit batter in 3 days. Jeff Baker a couple of nights ago suffered a mild concussion when he was struck by a Jason Marquis pitch. And then really a key play last night, Rich Hill curveball hit the helmet of Ian Stewart. That was right in front of the Jamie Carroll pinch hit grand slam.
Yeah, the first one was scary. Jason Marquis unleashed a fastball that just got away from him, ran up and in, and caught Baker right on the edge of the ear flap of the helmet. And last night, Rich Hill, as you mentioned, on a big sweeping breaking ball, kind of a glancing blow. Stewart went on down to first base, and now here today, Matt Holliday takes one for the team.
And Marquis, that is foul. Jason was very contrite about the whole situation, and called over to the Rockies clubhouse after the game, and also tried to make contact yesterday with Baker. So Todd Helton, with back spasms, did not appear in the first 3 games of this series. That went over his head on a breaker.
We talked about breaking balls throughout this series here at elevation or at altitude, whichever term you prefer. Tough to get those breaking balls to consistently break. A lot of guys try to throw them harder, put more rotation on the ball to get it to break. That doesn't work. Ted Lilly, I think, had the right formula in the first game of this series. Take a little bit more off of your breaking pitches. Let gravity do some of the work for you. He was able to drop his curveball in there fairly consistently and was throwing it a couple miles an hour slower than he normally would.
(3-2) with a runner going. Hit high in the air to center for Felix Pierre. He has it, and the first inning in the books. 0-0.
What up, P?
Yo, I got an idea.
I love our family tradition.
What's that?
Where we pass our plates to the right.
When did that become a family tradition?
When you ordered that.
New shrimp caprese with grilled garlic herb shrimp or new grilled steak caprese. 2 great new dishes at Olive Garden.
It's time to feel free with Chase Freedom. Feel free to choose points for rewards like travel.
I'm free to do what I want.
Or feel free to choose cash back.
I'm free.
Then feel free to change back again.
In the old time.
Without losing a thing. That's freedom. That's Chase Freedom. Get it free at chase.com/freedom.
So, Brooklyn style or Philly cheesesteak pizza?
Big foldable slices or steak and cheese. Guys, Brooklyn or Philly?
Philly.
Brooklyn.
Philly. Brooklyn.
Philly.
Brooklyn. Brooklyn.
Philly.
Brooklyn.
Philly.
Brooklyn.
Philly.
Brooklyn.
No, Philly.
Brooklyn.
Philly. Brooklyn.
The debate rages on.
Brooklyn.
Get a large one-topping Brooklyn style or a medium Philly cheesesteak pizza for just $9.99. Call or get them online.
America's funniest home videos, weeknights on Superstation WGN.
Mark DeRosa looks at ball one as we get underway in the second. Cubs are 5-1 against the Rockies. This is the final game of the regular season series. Toward the hole and through for a base hit. You know, the other interesting thing about Hurricula starting today, and you and I talk about it a lot, he went 6 innings in his only start at AAA, but it was 5 days ago, and a lot of times it simply comes down to who's available.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And most major league managers know what their rotation is at the AAA level, and when you get jammed up in the big leagues, you look at that pitching rotation at AAA, you figure out whose day it is to start when you need a starter up here at the big league level, and sometimes you have to alert those guys down there to hold a guy back from a start or to limit his pitches in the start before in the event that you do need him. Yeah, they're having to do it on the fly here in Colorado this year with their pitching staff.
Right-hander Ryan Spire was sent to Colorado Springs to make room for Hurricula. They also have one of their top prospects right now at AAA, but has spent most of the year AA, Franklin Morales. He's a left-hander. And there was some speculation that eventually he might come up, but after they signed Elmer DeSenz, it's probably the more likely scenario. A guy with a lot of big league experience. Hit foul. Nice footwork by Matt Sinatro to get out of the way.
I think if the situation were different in the National League West and the Rockies were out of contention, you may see a youngster come up and pitch as part of a rebuilding program. But the Rockies aren't looking at this as a rebuilding program. They're looking at this as competing for the division title.
That is past DeRosa, who actually backed up toward first base to get out of the way. That's the second time in a week Mark has almost been hit by a screamer. Jock Jones hit one just over his head in the last homestand, and he can smile about it now. First and second, no outs.
Well, because of that way the ball was hooking off the bat of the left-handed hitting Mike Fontenot, it was driving DeRosa further and further back toward first base. He eventually lost his balance. You can see if he continues on, that ball probably hits him right in the middle of the chest, but he did the right thing by backing up, letting the ball go through for the base hit. Of course, then he can only advance as far as second base. A couple of former college quarterbacks almost hooked up over there at first base.
DeRosa played at Penn and Todd Helton at Tennessee. Yeah, he was scrambling in the pocket. The 0-1 to Jason Kendall, and he popped it up. Infield fly here as it's caught by Tulowitzki.
Yeah, I mentioned the wind not much of a factor here at this ballpark, but the sun today will be a factor. Bright sunshine, just a few puffy clouds scattered around. Those pop-ups could be an adventure today.
I don't want to have to get out the rule book, so I'm just thinking out loud, but I waited and I watched the third base umpire Marvin Hudson. He put his right arm up indicating the infield fly. I wonder if the umpire waits to look at the fielder. I mean, what if Tulowitzki acted like he didn't know where the ball was? I wonder if they still would have put the infield fly in effect.
I think the rule states that if an infielder can make a play facing home plate, if they feel he can get into a position to make a play facing home plate, that's when the infield fly rule goes into effect. And it can happen out in shallow left center, in center field, right field, wherever. But as long as that infielder can get into a position to make the play facing the infield, they're going to call the infield fly rule.
Yeah, that makes sense. Start to get into that gray area, then fielders could basically fake it, act like they don't know where the ball is. Which, by the way, Tulowitzki could have done. But Kendall still would have been out. And at that point, the runners can advance at their own risk. The 1-1 to PA is fouled back.
Well, we've talked about it in the past. It would really take some aware defenders and some boneheaded base runners, but we know there's a bunch of those guys scattered around Major League Baseball. But you let that pop-up drop, and I guarantee you there are runners in the major leagues that don't know what the rule is, and they would break for the next base. Of course, they advance at their own risk, and if you have aware fielders, you could possibly get that lead guy. The batter will be called out on the infield fly rule. You could possibly turn it into a double play.
And you would have to tag the runner, because the force not in effect as PA takes called third. And Auricula now with a chance to get out of it. Well, the Cubs finishing up a long stretch without an off day. They're 9-10 over the last 19. They'll finally get that off day tomorrow. So it comes at a good time. The starters will all get an extra day of rest, which you really need after pitching here. The only starter who did not pitch here was Carlos Zambrano, although he did get a pinch hit at bat. Ted Lilly really had to work hard the other night. I said, you know what, you made it look easy, but he said it took a lot out of me. 127 pitches, and he got his 13th win. That was Friday night. This will be Todd Helton, a three-time Gold Glover. Auricula over to first base. Rather, Thursday night it was Ted Lilly getting the win. Marquis on Friday. 0-0.
What are you doing?
Should we pick him up? He has Bud Light.
He has an axe.
But he has Bud Light.
And an axe.
I'm sure there's a reason for it.
Hey, buddy. What's with the axe?
It's a bottle opener.
Hop in.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Look, here's Bud Light.
And a chainsaw.
That's cold.
I told you to come alone.
I did.
Who were they?
Oh, that's my network. In case I should have to call someone.
Really? You get service out here? That's amazing, because I'm always doing business out here, and I gotta tell you, it's a crapshoot. You guys work down by the docks?
A phone is only as good as the network it's on. And only America's most reliable will let you start with a test drive. Verizon Wireless. It's the network.
This is the gel that got America gelling. Now Dr. Scholl's has put two amazing gels together to create an insole that's soft and supportive for outrageous comfort. The new improved massaging gel insole. Dr. Scholl's.
They've always brought you great rooms at great rates. And now, the experts at Hotels.com are the first to bring you flexible booking, which lets you change or even cancel your reservation without any fees from us. So you don't have to worry if your plans change. And with the lowest price guaranteed, you never have to worry about paying too much. That's what flexible booking is all about. Just log on or call our certified experts now to find out more. Hotels.com. We know hotels inside and out.
Da Vinci's Inquest, weekdays on Superstation WGN.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN Sports, your official summer baseball station, is brought to you by Budweiser. Born in America, enjoyed around the world. This is Budweiser. This is beer.
Nicely done. Well, we'll be back at Wrigley Field Tuesday night. Reds in for 3, then the Cardinals for 4. 17 of 23 coming up in the friendly confines. Cubs with a great chance. First 2 got on in the last half inning, but Tim Hurricula got out of it. Garrett Atkins, Ryan Spilborghs, Clint Barmas against Sean Marshall. He's trying to even up his season mark, coming in at 5-6. Atkins 1 for 10 in the series with 3 walks. Last 2 starts, just 8 innings combined for Marshall. So looking for a much deeper outing today. His 1-1 pitch is hit hard but foul. Nice play down there. Got a little dirty, but key was he made the play and he gave it to a kid.
Yep, he knows what his job is down there.
This will be Ryan Theriot making the catch. Bob, we want to pass along our deepest condolences to 2 families who recently lost loved ones. To the family of Bill Harriet Sr., Bill Jr., good friend of ours, the WGN Sports Sales Department. We know his brother Tom very well, and we want to pass along our condolences after Bill Harriet Sr. passed away recently. There's Ryan Spilborghs, big swing and a miss, and also condolences to the family of Betty Criston, who also passed away this week. Her husband Pete and their 5 children, the Cristons from Mundelein, and Betty's son Kevin played for Jim Hendry at Creighton. So we want to send along our sympathies to the Criston family as well. One ball, 1 strike on Spilborghs. 2 hits last night. He's hitting, ready for this, .472 against lefties. Yikes. 25 for 53. Awkward swing. 2-2.
And you talked about it last night, Len. This is a guy that didn't start the season with the big club, but he has 43 RBIs in just over 150 at bats. You know, he's kind of hiding down there at the bottom of the order, driving in Atkins and Holiday and Helton and the guys in the middle. We were talking about it last night. Spilborghs in a lot of ways is kind of the Rockies version of Matt Merton. He hits for a high average. He takes his walks. Good on base percentage. Not really a big time home run hitter and not really a base stealer, but one of those guys that'll get on base for you a lot. And as I mentioned, hiding down here in the bottom part of the order, picking up a lot of those RBIs that are left by the guys in the middle.
Well, also picking up the slack with Willie Taveras in a day-to-day mode with a quad injury. Matt Merton filling in right now for Alfonso Soriano in left. Outside, and he takes a walk. Strange to say, but here's center fielder Clint Barmas. Spilborghs in right today. Barmas making his first career start in center. Former full-time shortstop. He was recalled on Thursday. second stint with the Rockies this year. He lost his job at the end of last year to Troy Tulowitzki. Drives that ball toward left center. Matt Merton is over. He won't get it. Felix Pie will have to chase it down. Spilborghs is going to be sent and will score rather easily. And it's a double for Barmas. And a pinch hit double last night, picking up where he left off. And it's 1-0 Rockies.
And then we've talked throughout this series about how the outfielders have to play especially deep in this ballpark, and this is the reason why, to have a better line on these balls hitting the gap. Matt Merton with a very shallow line that time. The ball gets by him. Fortunately, Felix Pie right there to back it up and hold Barmas to a double. But you know, not only does the ball carry well and you need to play deeper because of that, but balls hitting the gap are tough to cut off if you're not playing deep enough. That time Merton playing just a little bit too shallow.
One strike on Geronimo Gil, who had his contract purchased from Colorado Springs Thursday. He was playing with the Mexico City Red Devils in the Mexican Summer League. That glances off the glove of the pitcher Marshall and goes right to Terrio. He gets the out.
Backdoor cutter bounced back through the mound. Sean Marshall a little slow reacting to that ball, but fortunately deflects it right to Ryan Terrio for the easy out at first base. Boy, Rich Hill had some opportunities last night. I've been a little critical of Rich and Sean Marshall both and their inability to field their position. And last night Rich Hill had no alternative. Some line drives hit right back at him in the ball game last night.
Tapper, Marshall dives, stops, and it's going to cost him. And it costs him a run, in fact. Tim Horicula will pick up his first major league hit and RBI. He was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Prior to that at bat, it's 2-0.
Nice effort by Mike Fondo at the end of that play. When Marshall can't get to it, he slows it down. Fondo tries to slide and shovel all in one motion, but Horicula beats it out for a base hit and an RBI.
So they grab that baseball for Tim Horicula. Well, you look at the bottom of their lineup. We mentioned Barmas just got called back. He doubled in a run. Geronimo Gil had his contract on loan from Colorado Springs and was playing in Mexico. Tim Horicula was in Korea. But they're all in the starting lineup today for the Rockies, who are still battling for a playoff spot. Jock Jones camps underneath. Matsui is out. Rockies get 2 to take an early lead.
That's why Southwest Airlines has 8 daily nonstop flights from Chicago Midway to Philadelphia, so you can always catch a later flight. And you can count on us to get you there with our convenient nonstop flights and on-time service.
You are now free to move about the country.
When my doctor told me my high blood pressure may have led to my erectile dysfunction, I was surprised. But then he said there was something I could do.
When I found out my diabetes could have led to my ED, I learned there was help.
My doctor told me about Levitra.
Levitra is clinically proven to work for men with ED, even those with high blood pressure or diabetes. Levitra is only for men healthy enough for sexual activity. If you have heart problems or are on alpha blocker therapy, talk to your doctor before taking Levitra. Do not take Levitra if you take nitrates for chest pains, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing and stuffy or runny nose. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience an erection lasting longer than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease in vision, stop taking Levitra and call your doctor right away.
Doctors know Levitra helps treat ED, even in men with high blood pressure.
And in men with diabetes.
Over 1 million men just like me have already taken Levitra.
You should talk to your doctor about Levitra.
The more you know about ED, the more you'll want to know about Levitra.
From the night I went to the prom by myself to my 18th birthday party where all my ex-boyfriends showed up. It's all right here in the diary of me, Moesha Mitchell. Occupation, teenager.
Her name is Brandy. Her show is Moesha. Her message?
Follow your own star.
Weekdays at 5 on Superstation WGN.
A lot of Cub fans here in Denver. They're going nuts. We're going nuts, WGN.
We've been accused of that before.
Glad to have you with us today. Matt Merton chatting with Mark DeRosa. Possibly about the huge dimensions here in this park. We talked about it the other night. You have an overthrow at first base. It's pretty much 2 bases. You have to be really careful here, and you have to be very tight defensively.
Yeah, this is kind of the anti-new ballpark. A lot of the newer ballparks have eliminated most of the foul territory. The fences are short. The fans are right down close to the field on the action. Here in this ballpark, there's a lot of room to roam in the field of play and a lot of foul territory.
Bunted by Ryan Terrio. It's a good one. Heel will throw, and he hit Terrio in the back, I believe, and they're going to call him out of the baseline. Now, I believe there had been one tweak to the rule book which allows you to step outside the running lane, but with the sole purpose of touching first base. It can get a bit confusing.
You clearly see that box where Matt Sinatra is standing right now. Technically, Ryan Terrio has to be within that box as he runs down the first baseline. And the throw doesn't even have to hit him for the umpire to call him out at first base if he feels that by being inside that box, it interfered with the Rockies' opportunity to make a play. Ryan clearly inside the line down there. That is something that probably should be corrected. It doesn't happen often during the course of a baseball season, but you know, physically it's hard to run inside that box, as you said, and then come back and hit the base, which is sitting in fair territory. I believe it's girls NCAA softball. They have another base in foul territory. The runner runs up the baseline, stays within the box, and hits the base that's in foul territory, while the fielder uses the one that's in fair territory. I think it's girls softball. I may be mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're right. So 1-1 on Jock Jones. It is 1 for 1. Big swing and a miss. 1-2 now. Auricula works quickly. And now 2-2. 3 hits for the Cubs, all singles. Terrio's still upset.
Yeah, now the one tweak as Jock Jones goes down on strikes, much like the batter's box, the lines are considered part of the box as you run down to first base. So technically, if you are on the line, you're considered to be within the box, and that could be the determining factor, and maybe why Ryan put up such an argument. I mean, certainly Ryan Terrio knows the rule. He's a guy that uses that bunt for a base hit as part of his arsenal, and in doing so, you have to know what you have to do as you get closer to first base, and perhaps Ryan thought he was on the line and therefore within the box.
Derek Lee will deposit that ball in front of Barmes.
See if we can get a look this time and see if Ryan Terrio was on the inner restraining line as he ran down that first baseline. He's clearly well inside it right there, but as he gets down closer to first base, and that last step there with the right foot, perhaps he caught the edge of that line, but boy, that's a tough one to argue for Ryan Terrio. Ed Montague, the crew chief of this crew immediately called it.
Not sure if that was a cross-up, but it popped out of the mid of heel, allowing Lee to reach second.
Yeah, Heel's going to make a trip out to the mound now. Maybe just a little slow reacting that time. Looked like that fastball kind of took off on him a little bit.
It's a pass ball on Heel. So a runner at second. 1-0 on Matt Merton. A couple of very close calls at first base the last 2 days going against the Cubs. Big kick and a 1-0. That one's smothered by Heel. So he clanked the easy one and made the play on the more difficult pitch.
I mentioned it in the first inning. Hurricula is reported to have late movement on his pitches. He's not overpowering with anything. His breaking ball is not particularly sharp, but if you're one of those guys that can get that movement to happen mostly in the hitting area, you can be an effective pitcher.
Popped up by Merton. And it's Atkins to haul it in. Frustrating inning for the Cubs. They trail 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the third.
Scrubs. They're overworked.
Dr. Reed.
I'm not sucking my thumb.
Underappreciated. Socially inept.
Are you planning on making this worth my while?
And on call 5 times a week.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Tonight at 11:30 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
How long is this gonna last? I'm ready to hit the Bud Light. I already took care of it.
Say, well, all right, now we are gathered here today to join in marriage, Bob and Julie. Bob, do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? Do I hear and I do? I do. Do I hear and I do?
I do.
Julie, do you take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband? Do I hear and I do? I do. Do I hear and I do?
I do.
Going once, going twice, and now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
And away we go. Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
So what I owe you?
100, 100 quarter, 100 and a half, 175, 200, 200 quarter.
That's cold.
One morning you wake up and there it is. Gray hair. And you wonder, will people see me for who I really am? How do you break out of that?
Just for Men stops gray from hiding who you are. Easy with 5-minute target gray technology.
Today's a whole new ball game. And then you wonder, why did I ever put up with gray hair?
Let the real you come through. Stay in the game with Just for Men.
From a guy's perspective, it's very difficult to kind of verbalize some things.
It's very difficult to sit down and describe yourself in, 3 to 4 sentences.
Dating sites give you a picture and a paragraph. At eHarmony, we do the matching for you based on 29 dimensions of compatibility. And right now, you can log on to eHarmony.com and review your matches all for free. Aren't you curious to see who you're compatible with?
Love is pure joy.
eHarmony.com. Log on today.
Well, Ryan Theriot called out as he was deemed to be out of the baseline running down to first base. Called strike on Troy Tulowitzki. Rockies with 2 runs, getting help from the bottom of their lineup in the second. Jammed him and he fouled it back our way. It's now 2-0 Milwaukee. They're in the top of the 5th. In Houston, Jeff Jenkins with a couple of solo home runs today, 16 overall in the year. Fly ball the other way. Jock Jones tracking and catching up to it. So Matsui and Tulowitzki a combined 0 for 4. Want to see a Cubs game from the front row at Wrigley Field? Now you can. Visit Cubs.com and click on the front row auction to bid on tickets for the hottest games this summer. Cubs.com, where baseball is always on. Holiday was hit by a pitch. His first time. Check swing. They're going to ask down to first base, and Ed Montague said he held up. Grounded foul past Mike Gallego, the third base coach, and he's well out of that box.
Yeah, both the Rockies coaches getting as far away from home plate as possible.
Glenn Allen Hill, the former Cub, at first base. Decent crowd today, but not nearly as big as last night. They had over 48,000 here.
Matt Holliday taking some aggressive hacks in the ball game today. Really susceptible to a changeup. Sean tried to throw him one on the pitch before. He missed well up out of the strike zone. Still almost got a check swing for Matt Holliday.
Takes it low and inside, and Sean will get a new baseball for a 3-2 pitch coming up. Looking ahead to that Reds series starting Tuesday night. Aaron Harang and Carlos Zambrano, a battle of aces in game 1. We'll have games 2 and 3, and the Cubs will face a couple of lefties. Phil DeMontre will face Ted Lilly Wednesday night. Smacked up the middle by Holliday. Bobby Livingston, another lefty, against right-hander Jason Marquis Thursday afternoon. I still would say Matt Holliday's the best hitter in the major leagues, and not enough people know about him.
Well, opposing pitchers know about him. Sean Marshall will remember him after that at bat. He hits the ball hard almost every at bat.
We were talking about it before the game. You cannot mess around with Todd Helton. You got to go right after him. 3 days off. You have Holliday and Atkins, right-handed hitters, around him, combining for over 170 RBIs. Sean Marshall, the left-hander, has to make sure he gets Todd Helton and not let an inning like this really balloon. Good pitch. 2 strikes.
Yeah, we mentioned it the other night that occasionally, especially with a young pitcher, you get caught up pitching to a guy's reputation and name rather than to what his abilities are right now. Don't get me wrong, Todd Helton is still a very good hitter, but the guys in front of him and behind him are the guys that are more likely to do big damage.
High drive sending Jones back toward the wall, and he's going to make the catch. Bangs into the padding. Holliday will have to go back to first. What a catch by Jock Jones. We've seen him make catches like that in center, but now back in right field, had to run a long way to make the grab, and that probably would have given the Rockies another run.
I don't think there's any doubt if he doesn't come up with this, Holliday is probably going to streak around. You can see at the bottom of your picture, Holliday went all the way to second base. If that ball hits the wall and ricochets any direction away from JJ and Felix PA, Holliday's going to score easily. Nice running catch, able to keep his balance and get the ball back into the infield quickly.
Boy, Sean Marshall appreciated it. It's one of the better catches we've seen all year. Just because he didn't leave his feet doesn't mean it wasn't a highlight reel catch.
A long way to run to get to that when he was playing Todd Helton to pull, and ball was hit to the center field side of the right center field gap. A long run for Jock Jones.
And I think the thing that helped Jock is that it was hit really high. Gave him a little extra time to get over there.
Quick peek down to see where Felix PA was. He can feel the warning track under his feet, and based on the angle that he was taking toward the wall, he knew he had a couple of steps before he crashed into that padded barrier out there and made a nice catch.
Busted bat floater, and it'll get down. Well, remember that catch by Jones. That could end up being a big one. Still alive, 2 on for Spilborghs. there is the other thing about this park. Balls that drop in front of outfielders because you have to play so deep. I'm assuming that ball is caught at Fenway Park.
Oh, yeah. Although Fenway, it may have been off the green monster. I mean,
right.
That is a ridiculously short left field there with the big monster. But yeah, I got to believe that Manny even could have made the play on that ball.
Big swing by Spilborghs. 1-1. Lou Piniella going with the same lineup 1 through 8 the entire 4-game series.
Mentioned it last night. I was kidding with Alan Trammell and asked him if the printer was broken. You just don't see Lou run the same lineup out there 2 days in a row, let alone 4.
Got away from Sean. 2-1. Tram has done a terrific job as a right-hand man for Lou Piniella, who relies on him a lot.
Well, he's got great baseball instincts.
One bouncer to Derek Lee. He will touch first base. That inning was about Jock Jones making that big catch, and the Rockies don't score.
With convenient flights every day, Southwest Airlines gives you the freedom to do business out of town and still come home at night.
Winston, I'm home!
Fly one of Southwest's 8 daily nonstops from Chicago Midway to the San Francisco Bay Area for just $99, including new service to San Francisco International starting August 26th.
You are now free to move about the country.
It's time to feel free with Chase Freedom. Feel free to choose points for rewards like travel.
I'm free to do what I want.
Or feel free to choose cash back.
I'm free.
Then feel free to change back again.
In the old town.
Without losing a thing. That's freedom. That's Chase Freedom. Get it free at chase.com/freedom.
At Quiznos, chefs create special sauces for our subs at Wrong Way.
Mustard? Mayo?
Quiznos has the Steakhouse Beef Dip Sub with pan-roasted au jus. Steakhouse flavors without the steakhouse. Quiznos. Toasty.
Well, I got 2 words for you. Boycott.
Hank, if you had the power to put companies out of business by just not being a customer, why am I still able to buy mouthwash?
And deodorant. Clean underwear. Pickup trucks.
You don't know what we're doing, do you, Dad?
Shut up.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced nor retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
Oh, very nice. It's like they spent a lot of time working on that one. And don't forget to check out our baseball blog on WGNTV.com. On the blog today, I have a post about whether or not Jim Hendry will make another deal this month. Game notes from our friends at Stats Inc. There'll be a link tomorrow to our new baseball podcast as well. Always look forward to your comments and much, much more. WGNTV.com. Click on the link for Len and Bob's blog.
Well, I know this much. If Jim Hendry does not end up making a deal before the end of the season, it won't be because of a lack of trying. He's probably spent as much time on that phone over the last couple of weeks as he does at any point during the course of the season.
Cubs have been held down by Tim Horicula, who wasn't even in a minor league system this year until July 27th when he signed a minor league contract with the Rockies. His contract purchased today. First time he's been in the big league since mid-2005. Some time in Korea in the interim. 3-2 the count on DeRosa.
Well, the most innings that Tim Hurrickala has pitched in the major leagues, 4 1/3, and that was back in 1996. So if he's able to get 2 outs here in the 5th inning, well, actually this is the 4th inning, I apologize. He needs this inning plus a couple more outs to achieve a new career high in innings pitched.
So this is just his 2nd major league start. Many starts in the minor leagues. As Todd Helton will run out of room. 194 career starts in the minors for Hurrickala.
You see 94 pitches even back in 1996. He was somewhat of a nibbler. The man has got to know his limitations. And he realizes that he is not going to be successful throwing the ball over the heart of the plate very often.
And again, that start was for Lou Piniella's Seattle Mariners 11 years ago. Line in a left base hit. Good at bat for DeRosa. Results in a single. He's 2 for 2.
Looked like Dero got fooled a little bit, but he's able to extend his swing, really reach out there. Kind of uses his knees to flex and get down low, get after that pitch that's out there, and hooked it back to left field for a knock.
Fontenot, base hit. Have we seen this movie before? It was DeRosa and then Fontenot with back-to-back singles in the 2nd inning, and we'll see if the Cubs can come through this time. That inning, Kendall, PA, and Marshall were then sent down in order, and Hurrickala got out of it.
And Mike Fontenot so disciplined, staying up the middle of the field. I just mentioned it about the Rockies pitcher. You have to know your limitations. Fontenot's going to hit his share of home runs, but he is not a power hitter. He's a contact hitter, and there's a lot of base hits back up the middle of the field.
Kendall popped out to Tulowitzki's first time up. Thought about a bunt and then looked at ball 1.
I think that was strictly on his own, thinking about possibly bunting for a base hit and maybe loading the bases, at worst moving those 2 runners into scoring position for Felix PA.
Cubs are behind 2-0. 1-1 on Kendall, who came in with a .405 on base percentage as a Cub and slugging .406. Much better numbers than he had with Oakland to start the year. Cubs are in the middle of the pack offensively in the league, 8th in runs, 9th in on base, 9th in slugging, 7th in steals with 71. Just 13th, however, in home runs. The runners are on the move. There's a ground ball base hit, and DeRosa will score. Fontenot to third base. So Lou had him on the move, and it paid off.
I like the idea that Kendall showed bunt early in the sequence to just plant that seed in the Rockies' mind, and then Lou switches it up on the 2-1 count, plays a little hit and run. You can see Garrett Atkins evacuated his position to cover the bag at third base, opening that hole on the left side, and Kendall found it.
Jason's 2 for 4 lifetime against Hurrickala. Still no outs. Tying runs at third base. Atkins plays in. Helton holding on Kendall at first. Foul tip, strike 1.
That's a move that some managers would hesitate to make. Put on a hit and run with nobody out and runners at first and second. A line drive right at somebody, and that turns into an automatic triple play. But I think Lou just got tired of watching the offense flail away and not be able to take advantage of the opportunities they've had. He's a very patient man. He's willing to let his team swing their way out of a slump, especially early in a ball game. He doesn't like to give away outs, but decided that it was time to push some buttons.
Pulled. It's a fair ball. What a play by Helton. He will tag first. That's the only out he gets. And a tie game as Felix P.A. knocks in Fontenot. Runner at second, 1 out. Well, that was a heck of a defensive play by Todd Helton. That ball was scalded by P.A.
First hard ball P.A.'s hit in a long time. Looked like it was headed for that right field corner and a track meet on the bases, but Todd Helton in there not only for his bat but for that glove. A defensive anchor of this team for years.
Two of the best defensive first basemen in the game today involved in this contest, Derek Lee and Todd Helton. So back to even 2-2.
Well, you know, Len, unless you wear number 300, you don't want to have happen what's happened to Sean Marshall here. He's hitting his number, 045.
Called strike, 0-2.
Well, not many guys wearing number 300. Something to think about.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you wore 15, so you either can put a 3 or a 2 or something in front of that, or a 0 after.
Or a 0 on the end, which is more likely, yeah.
So Matt Herges up in the bullpen.
It's like they talk about guys hitting their weight. I'd be a much better hitter now than I was as a player.
That'll be a base hit. Kendall had to hold up just to make sure it got out there. First and third again.
Hey, Sean kind of got that ball in on his fist a little bit, but he's muscled it out there into shallow left field. As you said, Kendall had no choice but to hold up a softly hit line drive. He wasn't sure if any of the Rockies defenders were going to be able to get there, and can only advance on to third base for the top of the order.
And Herricula is going to have a short leash today. Just over 60 pitches. Bob Apodaca out to chat with him. While we have a moment, let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN.
Sports, mishaps, and mayhem that's all caught on tape. Whacked Out Sports. Premieres September 16th on Superstation WGN.
Sean Marshall no longer hitting 045. He's up to 087.
They used to call that the secret agent. When you have an O before your batting average, you're a secret agent. When you finally get that 1, then you're on the interstate.
Theriot toward right. Cubs lead. Five hits in the inning, 3 runs, and they now lead 3-2.
I think what we're seeing happen here this inning for the Cubs, third time around, getting a real good look at Tim Herricula, and the Cubs hitters realize he has nothing to overpower you with, so they're being a little bit more patient, letting the ball travel a little deeper in the zone, and a nice opposite field single by Ryan Theriot.
That will be it for the right-hander Herricula. You could see, by the way, Ryan Theriot chatting with Ed Montague, I'm sure, about that runner interference play a little bit earlier, getting the full explanation. So right-hander Matt Herges will come in. Cubs lead 3-2. They're still threatening.
Superstation WGN is your home for blockbuster movies that let you escape into another world. Where you can be a hero.
The United States government just asked us to save the world. Anybody want to say no?
A queen.
I am my father's daughter. I am not afraid of anything.
A thief.
It's not about the money. We like to chase.
Where you can be a little crazy.
You're crazy.
You're beautiful.
Where your dreams come true.
Where I feel like I could fly.
Where you can fall in love.
Are you the author of the plays of William Shakespeare?
I am.
And kiss me again, for I'm not this time.
Where you can go back in time.
Let's go. Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Or where you can go back home.
Phone home.
Superstation WGN is your home for blockbuster movies that are fun for the entire family.
You got into Harvard Law?
What, like it's hard?
With action.
What the hell is happening? I blew up the building. Why? Because you made a phone call.
Adventure. And everything in between. From the classics to the cutting edge. And from first kisses to first loves. Our movies are where dreams come true. Superstation WGN.
Hey, Chicago baseball fans, time is running out to enter Pepsi's Fan Can contest. Here's the deal. Only true baseball fans have the passion to customize a Pepsi can. Show us your team's colors. Design a Pepsi Fan Can that celebrates either the Cubs or the Sox. Decorate your fan can to honor your team. Send a photo, not the can, to WGN TV. Pepsi Fan Can at the address on your screen. August 27th, 6 semifinalists will be chosen. Matt Hergis, a Champaign, Illinois native. Graduated from Centennial High School, played collegiately at Illinois State. Been around a while, has a pretty good sinker. That was a curveball that was high. First and second, 3 in. The Cubs lead 3-2.
The Dodgers, the Expos, the Padres, the Giants twice, the Diamondbacks, the Marlins, and now here in Colorado.
He's taking the Lenny Harris tour, right? Long career, and it's all been in the National League.
Now, that was his signature pitch when he first got to the major leagues back in '99 with the Dodgers and later in 2000. That over-the-top curveball. He used to throw extremely hard, but as you mentioned, now he's more of a sinker, curveball, changeup pitcher.
The 1-1 on the way. There's a ground ball to second base. Matsui, Tulowitzki, Helton, and that's it. Hergis with that sinker gets the ground ball double play. But the Cubs take the lead. It's 3-2.
From the night I went to the prom by myself to my 18th birthday party where all my ex-boyfriends showed up. It's all right here in the diary of me, Moesha Mitchell. Occupation, teenager.
Her name is Brandy. Her show is Moesha. Her message?
Follow your own star.
Weekdays at 5 on Superstation WGN.
You're messing with the wrong guy.
We're up to 1 million hits.
Sweet.
Who is it?
Chuck Norris.
Yeah, right.
I told you to come alone.
I did.
With a...
Oh, that's my network. In case I should have to call someone.
Really? You get service out here? That's amazing, because I'm always doing business out here, and I gotta tell you, it's a crapshoot. You guys work down by the docks?
A phone is only as good as the network it's on. And only America's most reliable will let you start with a test drive. Verizon Wireless. It's the network.
Caution, professional toolman at work.
Before there's construction, there is destruction.
He's fully trained to handle dangerous situations. Like 3 kids, 1 wife, and Al.
You know what I've always wondered? Why everybody likes Al?
Remember, don't try this at home. Leave it to the comedy professional.
Just to weed out the men from the boys.
Home Improvement, weekdays.
Weekdays at 5:30 on Superstation WGN.
This Friday, August 17th, will end one of our favorites, Floppy Hat Day at Wrigley Field. Watch the Cubs battle the St. Louis Cardinals at 1:20, and be sure to get there early. The first 10,000 fans, 21 and older, will receive a Cubs floppy hats, compliments of Anheuser-Busch.
Right. It'll be fun. Cardinals coming in for a wraparound series Friday through Monday.
Those floppy hats are always in style.
Especially on a day like this. Bottom three for the Rockies. Barmas, Heel, and Hergis due up. Sean Marshall working with a one-run lead. Low for ball one. Wild card leading Padres have a 10-4 advantage in Cincinnati in the bottom of the ninth. Cardinals are crushing the Dodgers. They're in the 6th inning, 10-2. Dodgers have lost 11 of 13 in St. Louis, and they're getting blown out again today. Marshall coming back on a 2-1. Lifted high in the air for Matt Merton in left center. He has it. Now the catcher, Geronimo Heel, former Baltimore Oriole.
Beautiful weather here in Denver over the course of this 4-game series. A little bit of rain a couple days ago in the afternoon, nothing to speak of, but perfect conditions for baseball.
It's fouled off. Maglio Ordonez hit 2 home runs in 1 inning. And the Tigers beat Oakland 11-6. That coupled with Cleveland trailing in the bottom of the 9th at home against the Yankees, and the Tigers could find themselves in sole possession at first in the American League Central. They began the day a half game out. The Yankees tied with Seattle atop the wild card, and beginning the day just 5 out in the East. Fontenot will make the play.
Jim Leland has been a little critical of his own ball club lately, saying they're playing without energy, without enthusiasm. That tends to happen when your offense isn't clicking the way you'd like it to click. Every team looks a little flat when you're not hitting the ball.
Matt Hergis, right-handed pitcher, left-handed hitter. Well, each starter with a hit. Auricula with his first major league hit, also an RBI. And Sean Marshall with a single as part of the 3-run Cubs 4th. Auricula 3 1/3, 9 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Marshall's 0-2. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Boy, Hergis doesn't get a lot of at-bats, but he looks like a hitter standing up there. A little bit of an open stance. Took a real short, quick swing earlier in the sequence.
Craig Biggio with a home run in the 5th. Ty Wigginton in the 6th. So it's tied in Houston 2-2. Brewers and the Astros. Marshall off the mound and lob it over to Derek Lee. And that's it for the Rockies. Nice shutdown inning for Marshall. 3-2 Cubs.
Okay, I've been working on this plan for 3 years, and today's the day.
Okay.
Every Friday, the same Bud Light delivery guy takes the same route past us.
Okay.
You're the only one who can make the leap.
Okay.
When I say go, you jump over, grab some Bud Light, and jump back.
Okay.
Here he comes. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and go.
What'd you say?
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Seriously, what'd you say?
That's cold.
This country owes its very existence to the strength and courage of its working men and women. Unfortunately, many worked in areas contaminated by asbestos. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm speaking on behalf of the law offices of Peter Angelos. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with mesothelioma, a disease uniquely linked to asbestos exposure, call the law offices of Peter Angelos at 1-800-556-5522 for a no-charge consultation.
If a Cubs player hits a homer today, write down the distance and player's name and send it to WGN TV. You could win 2 round-trip tickets to any Southwest Airlines destination.
Jigs. Dig.
It's awfully hot in here.
Becker.
I know you're attracted to me.
Ew.
He's smooth and sophisticated.
Listen to me. Follow my lead.
I had a sex change operation.
Holy crap.
Someone has been working out.
Becker. Watch him operate 5 nights a week.
Late nights on Superstation WGN. The tears, the talent, and the outtakes. American Idol Rewind. Saturdays on Superstation WGN.
Hey, music fans, Lifehouse and the Goo Goo Dolls will be at the Charter One Pavilion on Northerly Island on August 23rd, part of the Bud Light Concert Series. Tickets are still available. Go check out 2 great bands. Check out a new track from Lifehouse. Visit livenation.com or call Ticketmaster 312-559-1212. Bud Light and live music, always worth it. Cubs trying to add to their 3-2 advantage. Into the Rockies bullpen, which has been very good lately. Pounded on the ground near short. Tulowitzki will throw out Derek Lee. First time Derek has been retired. Here's Matt Merton. Eight for 23 on the trip. And it make it 8 for 24 with the 0 for 2 today. There for a strike. Well, the Cubs are 30-28 at home, 30-28 on the road. And remember how they started at Wrigley Field. Holiday, 2 outs, 17 of their first 27 at home.
Well, then looking back at that bottom half of the 4th inning, that's exactly what Sean Marshall is supposed to do to the bottom of the other team's lineup. The 7, 8, 9 hitters at the plate, Clint Barmas, Geronimo Heel, and then the opposing pitcher. That's supposed to be your breather inning. I mentioned it the other day. There is no such thing as a breather inning in the major leagues. Anybody that has a bat in their hands is dangerous, but that's what you like to see your pitcher do. Mow those guys down at the bottom of the order because you know you're going to have to work when you get back to the top.
You know, the Rockies lineup is so difficult at the top. Anytime you can find breathing room, you have to take advantage of it.
And try to get through it with as few pitches as possible. Get your team back in the dugout quickly. Get yourself a breather in there while your team is hitting, and then you're going to have to go back to work through the top of the Rockies order.
Well, I mentioned the Yankees and Mariners tied for the wild card lead going into play today. Jeff Weaver breezed through the White Sox order. A complete game shutout, a 5-hitter for Weaver on the south side of Chicago as the Mariners beat the White Sox 6-0. And it is a final in Cleveland. The Yankees over the Indians 5-3, so the Tigers now in first in the Central. Red Sox leading late at Baltimore 3-1 in the 8th, trying to maintain their 5-game lead. The Red Sox and Yankees will still meet up 6 more times.
But the Yankees and the Blue Jays, that's a series you don't want to miss. Those guys don't like each other.
Tulowitzki throws across. Matt Burgess has done a nice job since coming in the 4th. 3-2 Cubs.
Right now, you can log on to eHarmony.com and review your matches all for free. Aren't you curious to see who you're compatible with? eHarmony.com. Log on today.
Hey, over here. Why don't you switch to our network? We're just like them.
Are you reliable?
Excellent question.
How about for email or downloading music?
Why not?
A phone is only as good as the network it's on.
That is a problem, and we are working on it.
And only America's most reliable will let you start with a test drive. Verizon Wireless. It's the network.
Are you ready for a double dip?
Who wants seconds?
These people here.
The top 4 give you 2 chances to love them.
You just sang the hell out of it.
I'm running out of compliments here, actually.
Plus, we go inside the most talked about vote in American Idol history.
I am in a total state of shock.
American Idol Rewind.
Tonight at 8 on Superstation WGN. America's funniest home videos, weeknights on Superstation WGN.
Hey fans, next Saturday is Empire Carpet Day at Wrigley Field. The Cubs battle the Cardinals at 2:55, and the first 10,000 fans will receive an Empire Today man bobblehead doll. Compliments of Empire Today. Empire Today is proud to be the official carpet of the Chicago Cubs.
I'll be driving through Glenview once we get back home tonight. The big Ron Santo annual golf tournament will be tomorrow, benefiting JDRF. In the fight against juvenile diabetes. Bunted by Matsui, it kicks foul. It's always a great event. Looking forward to a nice relaxing day of golf. Cubs' first off day in 3 weeks.
Does Ron look cool over there today?
He's styling.
Yeah, the air conditioning apparently cut out in the radio booth yesterday. It was smoking hot over there for Ron and Pat.
I know they were working to rectify the situation. Good look at, I was going to say Pat Hughes, but that's Corey Provis, I believe. Good look at his left forearm. He pumps a lot of iron. Corey was telling me last night there's a swing, and I guess he got a piece of it. So Matsui still hanging in.
See if we can see anything from this angle. Well, clearly in the dirt, Matsui chasing a bad pitch. Kendall thought it was a swing and a miss all the way he reacted. It looked like it was a swing and a miss all the way.
We got a really good look at that tumbling action on the curveball from Sean Marshall. Now Marshall steps off. Corey Provis, Matt Boltz, the producer and engineer, along with Pat Hughes, they were walking out of the ballpark last night. This will be a long run for Jock Jones, and he will get there. Nicely done. 2 outstanding catches in right for Jock.
He has had some plays where he has been on a dead sprint as he made the catch. One in the gap in right center. This one near the right field foul line. Well, we talked about the bright sun. There's a little bit of cloud cover right now, which is probably a good thing. I think Jock would have been looking right up into the sun had we not had the cloud cover.
Crushed by Tulowitzki. Is it going to stay fair? It is, and it's a home run, and we're tied again, 3-3. Ninth RBI of the year for Tulowitzki against the Cubs. It's his 15th home run.
Young guns in this Rockies lineup, Tulowitzki being one of them, along with Atkins and Holiday. They love to hack at that first pitch, and it doesn't matter if it's a breaking ball or fastball. They get out there in front, they get the bat hit in front of home plate, and this time Tulowitzki barely able to keep it fair.
It's 3-3. So Pat, Matt, and Corey are walking out of the park, and some Cub fans see Pat. They say, oh, you know, tough loss tonight. We'll go get him tomorrow. We really enjoy listening to you and Ron. And the fan looked at Corey and said, and we love you too, Len. And Corey just said, just nodded, smiled. I couldn't tell if Corey was insulted or not. 2-1 on Holiday. Pitch, swing and a miss. 2-2. Lee will not be able to get there as it hits the track, bounds up into the seats, into the glove. Boy, a lot of gloves out there. That one section, he went through 5 or 6 bands with the gloves.
We're ready to go.
Snow cone action too. The real snow cone. The wind and the pitch. Another foul. In that Mariners-White Sox game today, Bobby Jenks sent down all 3 he faced in the 9th and tied the Major League record, set a new American League record by retiring 41 straight batters. Jim Barr of the Giants holding the record, set in 1972. Fontenot will go back on it. Can't get it. Good effort. Holiday is on. He's going to try for a double. Here's the throw by Jones. Gets away from Terrio on the bounce. It's a hustle double all the way for Matt Holiday's 2 for 2.
Great effort by Mike Fontenot, going straight out into right center field on that little floater. He just couldn't quite get there. Great effort. Takes Jock Jones a long time to get in your picture. Maybe he's winded after chasing down some of the balls that he's run down in this game, but got to that one late, made a poor throw into second base, and Holiday about 70% down to first base, but then decides he's going to try to stretch it into a double and is able to make it in there ahead of the throw.
So he has started to heat up again after a slow start to this series. Helton is 0 for 2, robbed on a great running catch by Jones in the 3rd inning. 3-3. They've tied it on the Tulowitzki home run. Ball 1. The American League record Bobby Jenks just broke. It was held by David Wells who had sent down 38 straight when he was with the New York Yankees. Nice play by Derek Lee as he backed up a little bit. Marshall gets over to first. Helton is retired. And Holiday now 90 feet away. But there are 2 outs.
Helton with that vicious swing. He's another guy that rarely gets cheated up there at the plate. A nice play by Derek Lee, backing up to play it on the big hop, and feeds on to Marshall for the easy out.
Well, the corner infielders have got some wicked hops in this series, in particular Mark DeRossi.
Yeah, we had talked in the first couple games of this series about how thick the infield grass is here at this ballpark, but it doesn't seem to slow ground balls down very much. Almost a self-defense play by Derek Lee when Helton hits that ball on a hop. It hit in some of those divots out there where the base runners take their lead off first base. Came way up. He was able to stay with it, make a nice play. You get a lot of base runners down there at first base, and they're digging a toe hole, trying to get a jump towards second base, and eventually it gets chewed up to the place where it will affect the ground ball.
Well, I have to be honest. I have to come clean. I've been practicing for the Santo Golf Tournament, and I knew I'd be in the sand a lot. So I was hoping nobody would notice. I was out here early enough. I figured the grounds crew would take care of it. You are supposed to rake your own sand traps, but they didn't have a rake nearby. Ball 4. Spilborghs will bat. Going to head out.
It looked like he asked Larry Rothschild before he left the dugout if the relief pitcher down in the bullpen in right center field out there in that wooded wonderland, it's Michael Wirtz today. We have trouble seeing him from up here in the booth. It looked like Lou asked Larry if Wirtz was ready to go before he started out to the mound, but there could be a conversation here before Lou makes up his mind. The numbers for Spielborg earlier against left-handers, hitting over 470 going into play today, 265 against right-handed pitching. Who's going to stick with his lefty?
They're occupying the corner bases with 2 outs. Tulowitzki tied it with a home run. And again, remember a couple of big defensive plays by Jock Jones. Cubs could be trailing right now. Terrio will flip to Fontenot. It looked like the thick grass helped out the Cubs infielders that time. And the inning is over. They strand 2. However, they tie it on a homer. It's 3-3 to the 6th.
Who is Dave Chappelle? Really? He's Rick James, Lil Jon, Blackzilla, a Black Klansman, a Milkman, Tron Carter, Silky Johnson, Gallagher, Prince.
It's a celebration.
Chappelle's show is coming to late night.
Premieres September 14th on Superstation WGN.
Flying to Denver for business? If these 6 reasons don't convince you to fly Southwest Airlines nonstop to Denver, maybe this will. You can fly from Chicago Midway for just $79 one way.
You are now free to move about the country.
It's time to feel free with Chase Freedom. Feel free to choose points for rewards like travel.
I'm free to do what I want.
Or feel free to choose cash back. Then feel free to change back again without losing a thing. That's freedom. That's Chase Freedom. Get it free at chase.com/freedom.
At Quiznos, chefs create our recipes, like the Steakhouse Beef Dip Sub, marinated roast beef, French onion sauce, and pan-roasted au jus. At Wrong Way, you just get the dip. Steakhouse flavors without the steakhouse. Quiznos, toasty.
Wednesday on WGN, the Northsiders are rolling out the red carpet at the friendly confines. It's time to introduce Ken Griffey Jr. to a little Windy City hardball. Cubs, Reds. Wednesday at 8 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Today's Honda Civic game summary. Mark DeRosa, Mike Fontenot, each with a couple of hits. Sean Marshall's given up 3 through 5. Tim Horicula, an emergency starter for the Rockies, worked into the 4th, gave up 3 runs. The latest blast by Tulowitzki, who will field this Fontenot grounder, tied it up, bad throw, and Helton made a nice play to dig it out. As we get back into our Honda Civic game summary, get performance and save gas, test drive a new Civic at your Honda dealer today. 2 big plays. Jock Jones running to his right and then to his left out in right field to rob Rockies of extra base hits. Kendall bats with 1 out, nobody on. Pretty wild in Houston. They're in the bottom of the 8th, still 2-2. Prince Fielder was tossed. And Lance Berkman has just hit a home run to make it 3-2 Astros. So I think all the runs today have come on solo home runs. Vargas and Williams the starters, but they're both out. Here it's 3-3. Matt Hurd just got a double play ball to get out of the 4th. Went 1-2-3 in the 5th.
Hurd, another one of those crafty veterans. He realizes that his stuff is probably not up to major league standards at this point, but he knows how to use it, knows how to move the ball around, change speeds. We saw him use a slide step there on that last delivery to Jason Kendall with nobody on base, just to try to disrupt his timing at the plate.
Beginning on the final day of July, the Rockies relief corps with a 1.34 earned run average. And they've done it without their closer, Brian Fuentes, who's on the disabled list with a sprained lat. And he's expected to be back Tuesday. Kendall lifts it. Holiday catches it. Some snow on the mountains. And Kerry Wood is getting ready. He needs more time than the rest of the relievers out there to get ready to pitch. PA shows bunt. Takes a ball. Eric Patterson is on deck for Marshall. The plan for Kerry Wood from here on out generally will be to start an inning. The reason being, it does take him longer to get loose. Cubs do not want to be in a situation where they have to get him ready too quickly. In fact, Lou was going to take Ted Lilly out an inning before he ended up doing it Thursday night. He was going to put Wood into the ballgame, but Mike Fontenot hit into a 4-6-3 double play. I remember that half inning. It went by very, very quickly. Willie went back out for one more inning. 2-2 the count. Swing and a miss to end the inning. Good late movement on that Burgess fastball. Still 3-3.
The tears, the talent, and the outtakes. American Idol Rewind. Saturdays on Superstation WGN.
Have you enjoyed a Budweiser lately? Because I can only describe the smoothness you'll get from Beechwood Aging. I can only tell you about the choicest hops. But if you really want to understand what makes Budweiser the king of beers, you have to taste it. Just taste it. The perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser. Open up a world of taste.
Like I said, we live in a society where the individual ego and the group dynamic are in constant struggle.
Response?
Yeah, I have a response. What?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Nobody said this was going to be easy.
Now, see, if Geico.com had taken that approach, instead of telling everyone it's so easy a caveman can do it, I wouldn't be having an existential meltdown right now.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Life with diabetes, it's about staying ahead. That's why my new meter is Contour. It has no coding for fewer steps, which means...
No slowing down.
So life is pretty good.
Let's go. Life with diabetes, it's about going for it. That's why my new Contour has all the stuff I need to get it done right in just 5 seconds.
The new Contour meter from Bear is the most complete meter yet. It has all the features you need in just 5 seconds. So,
getting more just got easier.
Make your new meter the Contour meter from Bear. That's easy accuracy. Answered by Bear.
The wildest, baddest, most outrageous show on television is coming to late night.
It's a celebration.
Chappelle's Show.
Premieres September 14th.
Oh, always great to hear Bad to the Bone, George Thorogood. Had him in the booth a few weeks ago at Wrigley Field. You've learned that solo, right?
Not yet. I'm working on it.
Not the slide guitar just yet.
Your attention. Pitching for the Rockies in place of the pitcher Herman, number 18, Corey Sullivan.
It'll be Corey Sullivan, who's not hitting for the pitcher. He's hitting for Clint Barnes. 7th spot. And he hits it high in the air. Jock Jones. And that sun a little bit. Taylor Buchholz for the Rockies, who really helped save their bullpen the other night. 5 innings, 1 run Thursday night after Ubaldo Jimenez got knocked around. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Well, our gun had that fastball at 90. They had 92 on the stadium gun here. We've seen him upwards of 94, 95 his first outing last weekend. In fact, 1 week ago against the Mets, he was hitting 95. Swing and a miss. The 2-1 pitch. That one rides high and a little bit inside. Former Cub LaTroy Hawkins joining Buchholz
You may ask yourself why two right-handed relievers warming up at the same time. Well, Buchholz would be the guy if the score stays tied. If the Rockies would happen to take a lead, I'm sure we would see LaTroy Hawkins. There are times as a manager you wish there were 3 mounds down there in the bullpen. You get Buchholz up to go long if necessary in a tie ball game. If you happen to take the lead and the leadoff hitter's a left-hander, and you think that's a big at bat in the ball game, you'd probably have Jeremy Affeldt up to face the left-hander, then LaTroy Hawkins to come in after him should the Rockies take a lead.
Woody coming again, and that curveball was too high, and he walked him. You get a pinch hitter for Burgess. It'll be rookie Ian Stewart, who made his major league debut last night. Went 0 for 2, was hit by a pitch and scored a run. Now, Bob, I'm sure there are fans at home looking at the radar gun. Woody right now, fastball anywhere between 89 and 92. Is there any reason for concern, considering he was throwing 94, 95?
I don't think so at this point. And the radar guns, there's always a little bit of a difference from one gun to the other, from one ballpark to another. I think Cub fans are just going to have to resign themselves to the fact that this is not the Kerry Wood of old. He's not going to stand out there and throw 98-mile-an-hour heaters and knee-buckling curveballs. He's going to have to pitch to be effective, and there's nothing wrong with that.
That one's pulled toward right. Jones won't catch this one. Ian Stewart with his first major league hit. The Rockies are going to hold Heel at third base. They're in business, second and third, 1 out. A couple of Rockies with their first hits. Auricula, the pitcher, and now Ian Stewart.
We're talking about some of these young gun Rocky hitters. Ian Stewart may have the most power of any of them, as he gets more of an opportunity to play here. It's a screaming line drive to straightaway right field. He had 30 home runs a couple years ago in A-ball. They think this young man is going to be a big-time power hitter at the major league level.
I think right now they're talking about how they want to handle things with first base open. Matsui is 0 for 3. Red hot coming in. After him, Tulowitzki, who hit the game-tying home run in the 5th.
It looks like the Cubs are going to intentionally pass Matsui to set up a potential inning-ending double play with Tulowitzki at the plate. Tulowitzki homered in his last at bat.
Lou's been pacing a lot today. Bases loaded now. Starter Sean Marshall in 5 innings gave up 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. The Rockies setting a franchise record last night with their 6th grand slam this season. The only teams in the major leagues with more, Houston and Detroit, with 7. It was Jamie Carroll last night. Kerry Wood wants a double play ball here. Bases loaded. Huge moment in this ball game. Ball 1. To throw a strike. We've seen his breaking ball a lot here lately. He's only thrown 5 strikes in 16 pitches.
Starts Tulowitzki off with a couple of breaking balls. The problem with that, you're facing a guy who's considered to be a first ball fastball hitter. If you miss with 2 breaking balls, he is still a first ball fastball hitter in this situation.
That's a strike. Little extra mustard that time, 93. Very dangerous Matt Holliday on deck. Kick in a 2-1. In the air to right. Jones going after it. It's deep and it's going to be off the wall. The Rockies get 2 runs and Tulowitzki comes through again, continuing to crush the Cubs. 3 more RBIs today, 11 on the year. It's 5-3.
Fastball outer part of the plate. Tulowitzki, unlike his last at bat, goes with this one. Last time he pulled a similar pitch to left field for a home run. This time goes to the opposite field. A disturbing trend on this road trip, Lynn. With those 2 RBIs right there by Tulowitzki, the Cubs have now been outscored 25-5 after the 5th inning of ball games on this road trip.
And the infield has to come in with Matt Holliday at the plate. Did he get out of the way? It was behind him. He was already hit by a pitch in the 1st inning, but somehow he got out of the way.
I'll tell you, we've talked about it the whole series and talk about it on this pitch. That's a curveball that Kerry Wood tried to really get a lot of spin on that ball, make it break, and it just doesn't work in this thin air.
You saw Holliday also specifically pulled his bat out of the way. That could have ended up being a foul ball. Up the middle, Terrio will have to throw to first. Good piece of base running by Matsui. Looked like he was going to hold, but once Terrio had to slide to make that play, Matsui knew he was going to have time to score. So a nice defensive play and good base running. It's now 6-3. Runner at third with 2 outs.
It's hard to have much range when you're drawn in trying to cut that run off at home plate, but Ryan Terrio goes way up the middle of the field playing even with the grass right there, but by the time he gets to his feet, the only play he has is to go on to first base.
High pop fly off the bat of Todd Helton. Who's going to get it? Mike Fontenot will make the catch. He took a look at Jock Jones and decided to get it himself. Kerry Wood gives up 3 in the inning. It's 6-3 as we go to the 7th from Colorado.
Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Pepsi. Your world, your Pepsi.
Try Arby's 4 delicious new market fresh toasted subs. Make it a combo with curly fries and an ice cold Pepsi.
They've always brought you great rooms at great rates. And now, the experts at Hotels.com are the first to bring you flexible booking, which lets you change or even cancel your reservation without any fees from us. So you don't have to worry if your plans change. And with the lowest price guaranteed, you never have to worry about paying too much. That's what flexible booking is all about. Just log on or call our certified experts now to find out more. Hotels.com. We know hotels inside and out.
Hey, over here. Why don't you switch to our network? We're just like them.
Are you reliable?
Excellent question.
How about for email or downloading music?
Why not?
A phone is only as good as the network it's on.
That is a problem, and we are working on it.
And only America's most reliable will let you start with a test drive. Verizon Wireless. It's the network.
Dog River is a small town with big laughs. Watch Corner Gas, premiere September 17th, exclusively on Superstation WGN.
6-3 Rockies. Troy Tulowitzki coming through yet again against the Cubs. A 2-run double. They got another run on the Matt Holliday RBI ground out. Former Cub LaTroy Hawkins takes over, and you think about their pitchers today. The H's have it. Curricula, Burgess, and now Hawkins. Eric Patterson will bat for Kerry Wood.
Saw LaTroy Hawkins in the ball game last night. Pitched a clean inning of relief in the 8th. Went down 1-2-3. Did the Cubs. Also pitched a clean 9th inning in the first game of this series.
Corey Sullivan playing center. Bunted by Patterson. Picked up by Heel. And they get the out.
Unfortunately for Eric Patterson, that ball deadens right out in front of home plate. Just hits the soft dirt there by the dish, rolls a few feet out in front. That's an easy play for the catcher Heel. Coming out of the chute, throwing on to first base, and Eric Patterson definitely within that running box down there. Saw what happened to Ryan Theriot earlier in the ball game.
See Darrell Ward with the batting gloves on the bench, activated off the disabled list today. Cliff Floyd placed on the bereavement list to be with his ailing father Cornelius. Astros lead bottom of the 8th 6-2 over the Brewers. 4 runs in that 8th inning. Milwaukee winning the first 2 games of that set. But the Cubs in jeopardy of ending up 2-5 on this trip through Houston and Colorado. Guess they can get something going here late. Still enough time. Jock Jones on deck. He's had a very busy day out in right.
Well, we know it can be done. We've talked about this ballpark throughout this series, and it's never over until you run out of outs in a ball game. So the Cubs still have a chance to get back in this when they're going to have to bunch some hits together here, or get a couple guys on base and somebody hit a 3-run homer.
Well, the Cubs hit 3 home runs in the first 2 games. Matt Merton hit one Thursday night, another one Friday night. Jones added a long blast in game 2. And homerless last night and again today to this point. 3-2 Ontario. Here comes a pitch. Easy play for Kaz Matsui. Well, it's up to Jock Jones to keep the inning alive. A couple of former Minnesota Twins, Hawkins and Jones. You said it last night. After LaTroy gets the sign, there's a pregnant pause before he gets ready to deliver the baseball.
And the first time you catch a pitcher like that, you hang the sign down there, you think he agrees to throw that pitch, and then there's that delay. So you're never quite sure.
Matsui made it look easy. 7th inning stretch time from Colorado. 6-3 Rockies.
Top 4 give you 2 chances to love them.
You just sang the hell out of it.
Plus, the most talked about vote in Idol history.
I am in a total state of shock.
American Idol Rewind.
Tonight at 8 on Superstation WGN.
Before you order your next beer, consider this. Budweiser still goes to the expense of Beechwood aging, an original old-world style of lagering. And Budweiser cares enough to own and maintain world-renowned hop farms. A perfect choice in every corner bar in every corner of the world. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser. Open up a world of taste.
You know, testing my blood sugar is such a hassle.
Mom, why not make your life easier? Try the Breeze 2 meter. It's the one I use because it has 10 tests in one disc, and I never have to code.
Introducing the new Breeze 2 meter from Bayer. With no coding and now a smaller blood sample and results in 5 seconds. It's easier than ever. Call 800-554-9393 or go online now to get your free Breeze 2 meter, a $65 value.
That sounds a lot easier.
That's easy accuracy. Answered by Bayer.
So let me get this straight. With the Dairy Queen Cheeseburger Lovers Deal, I can get 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers for $2.22, or I can sink my teeth into 2 meaty double cheeseburgers for $3.33? They're both such great deals. I mean, which one should I get? The singles? Doubles? Singles? What are you doing? What are you doing? Prepare to be torn. The Cheeseburger Lovers Deal at DQ. 2 cheeseburgers for $2.22, or 2 double cheeseburgers for $3.33. Do them.
I never knew that you could dance like this.
Time for today's Bud Light Fan Can from a mile high, Denver's very own, and our buddies from the Fray having some fun with a remake.
Oh, baby, when you talk like that, you make a woman go mad. So be wise, keep on reading the signs of my body. I'm on tonight, you know my hips don't lie. I'm starting to feel your pull. So let's dance real slow. Don't you see, baby, I see us perfecto. Oh no, I won't deny. Oh, my chorus, hips don't lie. I'm starting to feel.
The Fray covering Shakira's Hips Don't Lie, a song they performed while on tour in Chicago. Today's Bud Light Fan Can, always worth it. Michael Wirtz is on to pitch here in the 7th inning. Starter Sean Marshall charged with 3 runs in 5 innings. Kerry Wood yielding 3 in the 6th inning. And now it's Wirtz. And for Kerry, it was the first time he had allowed any runs this year. His 4th appearance. City. Cubs won the first 2. The Rockies, with a vengeance last night, came back with a 15-2 win and lead 6-3 here in the finale. Atkins, Spilborghs, and Sullivan for Clint Hurdle here in the 7th. Lou Piniella kind of changing the mix at the end of his bullpen. Ryan Dempster has had very few save opportunities. And actually his best outing since coming off the disabled list was Friday night. Worked a fairly clean 9th. Sullivan, as a pinch hitter, got on an error, but then was thrown out on the same play to win the game at second base. So Demp basically can be used anywhere between the 7th and the 9th, and that means that Bob Howery and Carlos Marmol may get some save opportunities. So that gives Lou some more options. Kind of mix and match where needed. Two and two.
And a lot of that's going to depend on the matchups in the 9th inning, who is best suited. As you look forward and try to figure out how the lineup's going to roll around, you might use the pitcher who has the best matchups against the guys that he's going to face in the 9th inning. He's going to get out of play on the top of the Rockies dugout, first base side. I mean, when you look at the three guys independent we're speaking of, Marmol, Howery, and Dempster, Marmol is probably the guy who is most likely to strike out an opposing hitter. He has strikeout stuff, a power arm. Howery's a guy, as we know, that can finesse his way on that outside corner with a fastball and a slider, and usually get some ground ball outs if you need a double play. Perhaps Howery's your guy. Ryan Dempster with the hard sinker, the hard slider, the splitter also gets a lot of ground balls. So I think a lot of it is going to be dependent on who they're likely to face in the ninth inning.
The Cubs right now really don't have a matchup left-hander. Scott Air, the lone southpaw in the bullpen, but he's more of a one-inning guy as opposed to Will Oman, who was a specialty reliever facing the tough left-handers from the other teams. And that bullpen has certainly changed throughout the year. Really seemed to come into its own when Ryan Dempster actually went on the DL, and Demp was pitching great before he got hurt. But what it did when he got hurt was it put Carlos Marmol in a bigger role. PA makes the catch.
Well, I tell you, it's a lot like if you look at a team's offense. You know, the lead dog is going to change over the course of the year. We saw Soriano was extremely hot at times in the first half of the season. Ramos Ramirez was hot and carried the ball club for stretches. Jock Jones has had some nice stretches offensively where he's been hot enough to carry the ball club, but it's not the same guy every day. And I think we're seeing the same thing out in that bullpen. Ultimately, what you look for is a little bit of consistency over the course of the season. You understand that guys are going to have peaks and valleys throughout the course of the season, and you hope when one guy is in a valley that somebody else is peaking, and that's the guy you go to during that stretch of the season.
Second at bat for Corey Sullivan, who entered as a pinch hitter in the sixth inning. Got a note. Beth and Pam want to say hello to all their friends in Illinois, especially from Stillwaters. Now, I've been to a Stillwaters, but it was in a different state. Not exactly sure where it is, but Beth and Pam say hi.
I drank some Stillwater. Well, you definitely want to stay hydrated today.
Foul pop. No play for DeRosa. Charles and Mabel Miller of Rochester, Indiana will be celebrating their 70th year of marriage tomorrow. They always make time to watch the Cubs. So happy anniversary. That's from their son Dennis, their daughter-in-law Terry, and their email has some sort of animated elephant on it, which kind of caught my eye.
I'm looking over your shoulder here. Charles is 94 and Mabel is 91. Charles went after the younger chick. I like it.
Base hit in the center. And you just celebrated your 33rd anniversary, you and your wife Joan. So only 37 to go to catch Charles and Mabel.
Way to go, Charles and Mabel. And you know Charles has repeated the phrase many, many times in 70 years. Yes, Mabel, you're right. I'm sorry.
You celebrated your anniversary with us here in Denver.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the downside of getting married during baseball season. I think we probably only spent our anniversary together about a half a dozen times in 33 years.
Heel walked and scored in the sixth. Runner goes, pitches a strike, and the ball kicks away from Fontenot. So not only does Sullivan get a stolen base, but Jason Kendall will be charged with his first error as a Cub, his 5th overall on the season.
been very critical of the Cubs pitching staff for not giving Jason Kendall much of a chance to throw out base runners, but I think he had a legitimate chance to throw this guy out. Didn't get a great jump at first base, and Jason's throw short hops into Mike Fontenot, who tried to block it. It got away into center field. That'll go down as a stolen base and an error on the Cubs catcher.
Big rip by Heel. Who was raking in the Mexican League. He was hitting .396 with 12 home runs. For the Diablos Rojos. Was catching and playing right field. He swings and misses for the third out. More fray as we go to break. 6-3 Rockies.
Thanks, folks. I gotta get going. Cindy, keep my plane ready a little later. We're not finished yet.
Cindy, I got stuck on a client call.
Cindy, something else just came up. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Cindy.
Your plane is ready.
Thanks, Cindy. You're the best.
With so many convenient nonstop flights, you'll feel like you have your own company plane. You can count on Southwest Airlines to get you there on time with friendly customer service.
You are now free to move about the country.
I love our family tradition.
What's that?
Where we pass our plates to the right.
When did that become a family tradition?
When you ordered that.
New shrimp caprese with grilled garlic herb shrimp or new grilled steak caprese. 2 great new dishes at Olive Garden.
I told you to come alone. I did. Were they? Oh, that's my network. In case I should have to call someone. Really? You get service out here? That's amazing, because I'm always doing business out here, and I gotta tell you, it's a crapshoot. You guys work down by the docks?
A phone is only as good as the network it's on. And only America's most reliable will let you start with a test drive. Verizon Wireless. It's the network.
At Quiznos, chefs create special sauces for our subs. At Wrong Way,
Mustard? Mayo?
Quiznos has the Steakhouse Beef Dip Sub with pan-roasted au jus. Steakhouse flavors without the steakhouse. Quiznos. Toasty.
From the night I went to the prom by myself to my 18th birthday party where all my ex-boyfriends showed up. It's all right here in the diary of me, Moesha Mitchell. Occupation, teenager.
Her name is Brandy. Her show is Moesha. Her message?
Follow your own star.
Weekdays at 5 on Superstation WGN.
Me out to the ball game.
Well, we're down to the final 50 in our ultimate 7th inning stretch contest, just to show you an example of the passion that has been displayed by Cub fans as part of the ultimate 7th inning stretch competition. This is Leslie W. from Champaign, Illinois. She did not make the final 50.
They don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
She might want to try out for American Idol. And as a reminder, voting is going on now to help determine the 10 finalists. 5 new videos will be posted each weekday from now until Friday, August 17th. Go to Cubs.com to cast your vote. What would Simon say?
I'm not even going to go.
All right. Sorry about that. I'm trying to put you on the spot. Jorge Julio is on, so breaks the line of surnames that start with H, although you pronounce it Julio.
There we go.
1 ball, 1 strike. Their closer's Manny Corpus. Yeah. 1 and 2.
We were talking to Mark DeRosa yesterday about this Colorado Rockies bullpen. They've got a nice mix down there. Jeremy Affeldt, the lone left-hander, but he is really tough on left-handed hitters, and we've seen Julio come into this ball game firing bullets. 87-mile-an-hour slider on that last pitch.
You often hear, Bob, about a change of scenery doing a world of good. Well, in the case of Jorge Julio, he had a disastrous start to the year with Florida. 2 losses, 2 blown saves, a 12.54 earned run average. Gave up 14 runs in 9 1/3 on 18 hits. And all of a sudden his season changed when he came to the Rockies. He has been a lot better. Derek Lee will ground out to Troy Tulowitzki. And you wouldn't think that a guy coming from Florida to Colorado, when you think about the 2 home ballparks, would benefit, but that's been the case for Julio. I seem to recall a similar transition for Joe Kennedy. He struggled with Tampa Bay and then pitched well for the Rockies.
There's a handful of pitchers in the somewhat brief history of the Colorado Rockies who have come here and pitched well after struggling at their previous stop, but there's been a whole lot more that have come here and struggled mightily.
Joe Kennedy went 3-12 for Tampa Bay in 2003 with a .613 earned run average. The next year he went 9-7 here with a .366. Kennedy pitched for Lou Piniella as a Devil Ray in 03. Look foul, look out. Hope everybody's all right. 1-2 on Merton.
Unfortunately, I think that foul ball went right up an aisleway on the first base side. Missed all the people sitting in their seats, hit the steps, and ricocheted back toward the field.
Swinging strike 3. Day for Merton. He's 0 for 4. Time now to have a ball with our friends at the Illinois Lottery. Earlier today, excellent play by the ball dude. Down on a knee, but he made the barehanded stop. And as Bob always says, give it to a kid.
Give it to a kid. That-a-way.
Well, I've said it before, I'll say it again. One of the continuing problems for the Cubs is a lack of free passes. Derek Lee took a walk in the first inning. They haven't had one since. And what that tends to do is when you're not hitting, you're not getting on base at all. Cubs have relied very heavily on their batting average.
Well, especially when you consider the first 2 pitchers in this game for the Colorado Rockies, Hurricala and Hergis, both finesse pitchers that do not want to throw the ball over the heart of the plate. They rarely give you a ball you can square up and hit hard. You're going to try to nibble, and if you're patient with those guys, you'll get some counts in your favor and force them to come over the big part of the plate. But Cubs just were not patient enough against a couple of finesse pitchers.
Cubs have taken the second fewest walks in the entire league. Only the Pirates have walked less. Cubs are 6th in batting average.
Yeah, walks are good, but yeah, for me it's more a case of getting yourself into some good hitters counts where you can take aggressive swings and do some damage. Obviously you draw a few base on balls and jumpstart the offense that way, but even more importantly, when you get yourself in good hitters counts where you can really take an aggressive swing and force that pitcher to throw you a strike.
Bounce to Garrett Atkins. To Julio with a clean 1-2-3-8. Bottom 8, 6-3 Colorado.
In the tradition of great police dramas comes a show that's not even close to any of those shows.
Slipped and poop.
It's a crime.
Never actually kicked a ball.
That they're cops. Reno 911.
Premieres September 14th on Superstation WGN.
No matter what the label looks like, no matter how you say it, one beer is the perfect choice at any corner bar in any corner of the world. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser. Open up a world of taste.
At eHarmony, we match you across 29 dimensions of compatibility. And right now, not only can you log on to eHarmony.com and get your personality profile, you can also review your matches all for free. Aren't you curious to see who you would be matched up with according to compatibility?
He loves me for me.
Visit eHarmony.com and discover what so many singles have found. Log on today and review your eHarmony matches absolutely free. eHarmony.com.
So let me get this straight. With the Dairy Queen Cheeseburger Lovers Deal, I can get 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers for $2.22, or I can sink my teeth into 2 meaty double cheeseburgers for $3.33. They're both such great deals. I mean, which one should I get? The singles? Doubles? Singles? What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Prepare to be torn. The Cheeseburger Lovers Deal at DQ. 2 cheeseburgers for $2.22, or 2 double cheeseburgers for $3.33. Do 'em.
Let's take a look at our upcoming Cubs high-definition broadcast schedule, sponsored by Comcast. We're back in HD from Wrigley Field Wednesday night at 7 o'clock on WGN Sports, Reds and the Cubs. And again Thursday, 1 o'clock with a leadoff man. Friday, the Cardinals come in to renew one of the great rivalries in all of sports. Game 1 on WGN at 1 o'clock, 2007 Cubs baseball in HD, sponsored by Comcast. Here's Ryan Dempster, who lives in the Denver area in the offseason. Getting an inning of work with his team down 3 here in the last of the 8th, trying to keep the Rockies right where they are. Willie Taveras pinch hits and fouls away. There was some thought that Taveras might end up on the disabled list with his quad injury, but he's been well enough to pinch hit in this series. If there was really any doubt, I don't think Clint Hurdle would use him as a pinch hitter. With the off day tomorrow, they could have backdated it. Well, it sounds like he's going to be ready to go on their upcoming trip. Taveras batting for Julio, breaks his bat. A one hopper handled by DeRosa. High throw, and Lee able to get back to first base with his toe for the out.
DeRosa's had quite a series down there at third base. He's had some hops just absolutely eat him up. He's misplayed a couple of other balls, and this time he's got to deal not only with the ground ball, the thick grass, but the barrel of the bat coming down his direction. Where it helps to have a 6'5" former basketball player playing first base.
Well, the Brewers did lose 6-4 the final in Houston. Mark McLemore got the win for the Astros in relief. Carlos Villanueva took the loss. Brad Lidge with his 8th save. So the worst case scenario is the Cubs head home down a game and a half, meaning they will lose just a half game on this trip. So a 2-5 road trip staring Lou Piniella in the face right now, unless the Cubs can come back in the 9th. But because Milwaukee struggled and swept here, did win 2 of 3 in Houston, but went 2-4 on their trip. The Cubs not losing a lot of ground. But as you said earlier, you feel like some golden opportunities have been wasted this week. Cubs had Woody Williams on the ropes. Ditto against Josh Fogg last night, facing Tim Horicula today in his first big league action since 2005.
I mean, really, you look at that series in Houston. You know, great pitching matchup. Rich Hill against Wandy Rodriguez. Rodriguez was just a little better in that ball game. The next night was the Woody Williams game. I think we both agree the Cubs should have taken that one rather easily. They let it get away. And then they caught Roy Oswalt on a subpar night, but unfortunately Carlos Zambrano had one of his worst starts of the year. There were opportunities to be had, but just haven't been able to take advantage, and the offense has really gone into slumber mode from the 5th inning on this trip.
Well, looking ahead, the Cubs will have 14-game winner Carlos Zambrano Tuesday, and then 13-game winner Ted Lilly Wednesday. Cubs have not been able to contain Troy Tulowitzki this year. Just think about the last 2 days. 4 hits last night, 3 RBIs. Game tying home run. Big go ahead 2-run double the next inning. How about that outfit? Rather colorful. And pitch out, and Matsui was not running.
Well, he probably will be at some point during this sequence. 22 out of 24, or is it 23 out of 25 now? Whatever it is, he's been real good picking his spots to steal bases.
There he goes. And the fly ball is going to twist, foul, and out of play. Well, Bob, the Orioles came back, scored 2 in the 8th to tie it, and then won it in the 10th on a Kevin Millar 3-run shot. So the Red Sox losing, the Yankees winning, their lead down to 4 in the East. That's why you can never say that division's over in May or June or July or even August. Cardinals won again today, 12-2. So they're 5.5 back with the Brewers losing. Matsui running. Here's the throw by Kendall. And Matsui's safe, and he is now 23 of 25 on the year.
Jump by Matsui over there at first base. Kendall's throw tails back toward the runner. Fondo tries to jump to avoid Matsui, make the catch and the tag all in one motion. He just couldn't come up with it.
Jason still looking for that first caught stealing as a Cub. He's 0 for 24 in the dirt. Full count. 3-2 on Tulowitzki. Tip, that is a strikeout.
Held high fastball out over the plate. Tulowitzki with a big swing in the 2-strike count. No sign of shortening up and trying to put the ball in play right there. He was trying to plant one in the bleachers and left.
Ryan Dempster's velocity just not where it was before he got hurt. In the upper 80s, low 90s. Again, the two guns a little bit different. It was an off-speed pitch. Holiday with 2 hits. An RBI in the 6th, giving him 93 on the year. Slider low and away. Holiday starting the day in 3rd in the National League in RBIs. Carlos Lee, Ryan Howard 1 and 2. Ryan Terrio pops the mitt before shooting it across to Derek Lee. 1 out walk and a steal, but no runs. We'll go to the 9th inning from Colorado. 6-3 Rockies.
Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With more flights to more places than ever before, Southwest is taking low fares even farther. Visit southwest.com.
That's why Southwest Airlines has 8 daily nonstop flights from Chicago Midway to Philadelphia, so you can always catch a later flight. And you can count on us to get you there with our convenient nonstop flights and on-time service.
You are now free to move about the country.
It's time to feel free with Chase Freedom. Feel free to choose points for rewards like travel.
I'm free to do what I want.
Or feel free to choose cash back.
I'm free.
Then feel free to change back again.
In the old town.
Without losing a thing. That's freedom. That's Chase Freedom. Get it free at chase.com/freedom.
So, Brooklyn style or Philly cheesesteak pizza?
Big foldable slices or steak and cheese. Guys, Brooklyn or Philly?
Philly.
Brooklyn.
Philly.
Brooklyn.
Philly. Brooklyn. Brooklyn. Philly. Brooklyn.
Philly. Brooklyn.
Philly.
Brooklyn.
No, Philly.
Brooklyn.
Philly. Brooklyn.
The debate rages on.
Brooklyn.
Get a large one-topping Brooklyn style or a medium Philly cheesesteak pizza for just $9.99. Call or get them online.
Chicks, dig Becker.
Someone has been working out.
Becker, watch him operate 5 nights a week. Late nights on Superstation WGN.
Rockies 6, Cubs 3. Last chance here for the Cubs as we get into the 9th inning. Right-hander Manny Corpus closing for the Rockies with left-hander Brian Fuentes on the disabled list. He's 8 for 10 in save opportunities.
8 for 8 since taking over for Brian Fuentes. His 2 blown saves came earlier this year. You see his numbers on the season. He throws strikes, doesn't give up a lot of base hits. 24-year-old out of Panama City, Panama.
4 2/3 hitless, scoreless innings for the Rockies bullpen. Bob, the Cubs haven't had a base runner since Auricula was taken out of the 4th inning. Two strikes on Mike Fontenot. Kendall and PA due up. Cubs can get a couple guys on here. I wouldn't be surprised if Darrell Ward would make an appearance, a guy who can certainly reach the seats. $39,176. A lot of Cub fans here today. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Backdoor slider from Manny Corpus. Fondo trying to protect the plate, realized that pitch was going to be too close to take, just tried to get a piece of it, comes up empty.
You mentioned Corpus from Panama City, Panama. His idol growing up was Mariano Rivera, who also hails from Panama. Corpus signed when he was 16 years old in 1999. Pitch, fastball right down Main Street, 96 miles an hour from Corpus. PA on deck. Foul back. The producer of Cubs baseball on WGN Sports, Pete Toma. Our director is Skip Fillmore Ellison. Mark Brady is our associate producer, the executive producer of WGN Sports, Bob Vorwald. Thanks as well to our stage manager in the booth, Richard Thamert, our studio coordinator back at WGN, Jeff Carrier, our great crew here in Denver. A job well done all weekend. One more trip out west, the next journey. Cubs will go to San Francisco and Arizona.
That's one of those odd road trips. You need to pack an overcoat for San Francisco and sunscreen for Arizona.
Kendall hanging in, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Heel wants it toward the outside, and it just missed. He put it right where his catcher wanted it. It didn't get Kendall to chase after it. Guccione didn't give him the call. Jason wanted that ball to hit him.
The Cubs need some base runners. I mean, normally a 3-run lead in this ballpark, you don't feel real comfortable about if you're Clint Hurdle. I'm sure he's seen a lot of 3-run leads slip away in a hurry, but because of the lack of home run power on the part of the Cubs right now, especially with Soriano and Ramirez not in the lineup, and Derek Lee not hitting for much power lately, you don't know where that 3-run home run is going to come from. There we go.
And he walked him. Well, Kendall does not budge. Those inside pitches, I mean, he hangs right in there.
Well, and no body armor. A lot of guys that wear the big elbow guard would stick it out there and take one for the team off the back of the padding, but Kendall doesn't give even a little bit.
PA is in the batter's box, and the previously mentioned Darrell Ward, activated today, is in the on-deck circle. He was not going to be activated until Aramis was back in the everyday lineup, but with Cliff Floyd going on the bereavement list, Ward back on the active 25-man. 1 strike on PA. Here's the pitch. It's low. 1-1. Well, I like what I've seen so far in this at bat. Felix understanding the situation. Normally a pretty aggressive hitter, but he knows that his run doesn't mean anything. He's trying to get on base to bring the tying run to the plate. Swinging away that time. Helton gets the out at second base. The relay throw late. PA's speed beat it out. So they only get 1.
I think Todd Helton thought they had an opportunity to turn 2. He was very deliberate unloading that ball to Tulowitzki at second base, and with Felix PA's speed, he's going to easily beat that relay throw back to the pitcher covering the bag.
That's a great point. It's a subtle Gold Glove type play. I understand. You're trying to pile up outs here, and it's the mode of making a quick throw and taking a risk. If he throws that away, then the tying run comes up. So here's Darrell Ward coming off the disabled list for the 2nd time this year. A strained right calf. He was on the DL back in June with a left hip strain. PA's going to take second base. That ball is in the air, pretty well hit, deep to center. Back to the warning track and caught by Corey Sullivan for the 3rd and final out of the inning, and out number 27 of the day. 6-3, the Rockies win to earn a split in this series. Came down to the bullpens today, and the Rockies bullpen was better. Cubs finally got a base runner against the Rockies pen in the 9th inning on the walk to Kendall, but well, they really shut him down after Tim Hurricula was taken out in the 4th.
It's kind of been the story of this road trip. The Cubs either squandered opportunities to when they should have scored more runs than they did in an inning, or just unable to get anything going at all late in the ball game.
Darrell Ward gave it a ride. Came up a little short. Cubs
have an off day now on Monday to regroup and rest themselves mentally and physically and get prepared for that homestand. They're going to be playing teams in their own division. Huge ball games. They need to get it turned around, especially with the bats.
So the trip ends at 2-5. Again, the off day tomorrow. Reds in Tuesday. Much more to come. 6-3 Rockies, the final.
From the night I went to the prom by myself to my 18th birthday party where all my ex-boyfriends showed up. It's all right here in the diary of me, Moesha Mitchell. Occupation, teenager.
Her name is Brandy. Her show is Moesha. Her message?
Follow your own star.
Weekdays at 5 on Superstation WGN.
What up, P?
Yo, I got an idea.
They've always brought you great rooms at great rates. And now, the experts at Hotels.com are the first to bring you flexible booking, which lets you change or even cancel your reservation without any fees from us. So you don't have to worry if your plans change. And with the lowest price guaranteed, you never have to worry about paying too much. That's what flexible booking is all about. Just log on or call our certified experts now to find out more. Hotels.com. We know hotels inside and out.
Watch Funniest Pets and People and get your groove on. Kick up your heels. Maybe do-si-do or do-si don't. Watch people and their pets get funky. It's so funny, it'll bring you to your knees. Boogie down with Funniest Pets and People. Brought to you by Kohl's Department Stores. Kohl's, expect great things.
For the Colorado Rockies today, 6 runs, 9 hits, no errors, 9 men left. For the Cubs, 3 runs, 9 hits, 1 error, 6 men stranded. The winning pitcher, Matt Hergis, his first decision of the year. He wins it. He's 1-0. Kerry Wood, his first decision in 07, taking the loss. Manny Corpus, 9 for 9, filling in for Brian Fuentes in save opportunities. We'll be back with the Bud play of the game. The final, once again, the Rockies 6, the Cubs 3.
Perfect.
All malt.
Always perfect.
All imported Noble Aroma hops. Together in a classic European-style brewing tradition.
Back together again. Yeah.
The beer brewed for connoisseurs. All malt makes all the difference. Experience the unmistakable taste of Michelob. Distinct by design.
Hey, over here. Why don't you switch to our network? We're just like them.
Are you reliable?
Excellent question.
How about for email or downloading music?
Why not?
A phone is only as good as the network it's on.
That is a problem, and we are working on it.
And only America's most reliable will let you start with a test drive. Verizon Wireless. It's the network.
I love our family tradition.
What's that?
Where we pass our plates to the right.
When did that become a family tradition?
When you ordered that.
New shrimp caprese with grilled garlic herb shrimp or new grilled steak caprese. 2 great new dishes at Olive Garden.
This is the gel that got America gelling. Now Dr. Scholl's has put 2 amazing gels together to create an insole that's soft and supportive for outrageous comfort. The new improved massaging gel insole. Dr. Scholl's. Get in.
So let me get this straight. With the Dairy Queen Cheeseburger Lovers Deal, I can get 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers for $2.22, or I can sink my teeth into 2 meaty double cheeseburgers for $3.33. They're both such great deals. I mean, which one should I get? The singles? The doubles? Singles? What are you doing? What are you doing? Prepare to be torn. The Cheeseburger Lovers Deal at DQ. 2 cheeseburgers for $2.22, or 2 double cheeseburgers for $3.33. Do them.
Well, a great great start to this series, especially for the offense. The Cubs taking the first 2 after getting swept in Houston, but the Rockies came back with 15 last night, 6 more today, and they get 3 in the 6th to win it. Final 6-3. And let's check in on today's Budweiser plays of the game. I'll tell you, Troy Tulowitzki had quite a season series against the Cubs. A game-tying home run off Sean Marshall in the 5th inning. That made it 3-3, and then in the 6th off Kerry Wood, a 2-run double to the opposite field.
Well, the Cubs learned what the rest of the National League West already knows about this Rockies ball club. They can swing those bats. They catch the ball defensively. A solid bullpen. If they get any starting pitching at all, they're going to be right in contention.
So the Cubs losing a half game on the road trip. And again, we don't want to sit here and say, well, the Brewers lost, so everything is fine and dandy. The Cubs went 2-5, a very difficult trip, as the Brewers found out, because they went 2-4. But as you look ahead, 17 of the next 23 at home, and you have to really take care of business this week coming up against the Reds and the Cardinals.
Well, you'd like to think they'll go back to Wrigley Field, as we mentioned, take the off day tomorrow, recharge the batteries mentally and physically a little bit, and come out Tuesday and feed off the energy of that Wrigley Field crowd. You know they're going to be fired up for that homestand.
Let's check in on the pitching matchups coming up. And again, you feel good. Carlos Zambrano's on the mound, although Aaron Harang coming off a terrific outing. Remember, he had to leave that start in Cincinnati in late July with some back soreness, had to skip one start, but was very good his last time out. DeMatre, Livingston, some unknown commodities there, left-handers, and the Cubs have struggled against southpaws.
Yeah, historically they've struggled against southpaws. They've struggled against pitchers that they don't know anything about. There's probably going to be a lot of time spent in the video room before those Wednesday and Thursday ball games.
Soriano on the disabled list, and the Cubs have been saying around Labor Day he wants to be back as quickly as possible. It's kind of interesting because he's never been on the disabled list, and when I saw him the other day, he made it sound like 2, maybe 3 weeks. The Cubs are going to be fairly cautious with him, but in the interim, you really need a Ramos Ramirez to be back as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it was unfortunate Ramos had to miss this series. You like to see your power hitters in the lineup, especially a right-handed pull power hitter at Houston and here in Colorado, where you can take advantage of some of that pop. With those 2 guys out of the lineup, Derek Lee was the only double-digit home run hitter that the Cubs had in the lineup in this series. The Rockies, on the other hand, had 6 guys in double digits with homers.
And speaking of D. Lee, the Cubs pitching obviously can use the off day tomorrow, but I think Derek could as well. It was a kind of a rough trip for him.
You know, any manager appreciates a guy who will answer the bell every day, no questions asked. Derek never asks out of the lineup, but we're starting to see some signs the last couple days of bats getting a little bit slow. Maybe the effort isn't quite what it was earlier this season. I think D. Lee, as much as anybody on this team, is really going to benefit from the off day.
Well, let's take a look at the Culver's sweet defensive plays of the game. Jock Jones, who had done such a great job in center field running down fly balls, did it again today in right. Matsui being robbed in the 5th inning. And then a little bit later, another great running catch. That was Todd Helton. So the Cubs drop this one. The final, once again, is 6-3. Zambrano and Lilly coming up. Ryan Dempster today, he did walk 1. Did not give up a run. Kerry Wood today with his worst outing, and he's been pretty busy, actually. 4 appearances in his first week of action. The velocity down just a little bit, but at this point, if he feels good, I guess we're not concerned.
Yeah, as long as he's able to bounce back and take the ball the next time he's expected to. Once again, he's a guy that will benefit from the off day tomorrow, but not only the velocity down a little bit, but today Woody's location just wasn't good. Made a lot of mistakes over the big part of the plate, and as we said, this Rockies team can hammer the baseball.
Well, a lot of Cub fans here in Colorado this weekend. They watched their team split this 4-game series. Our next broadcast of Cubs baseball on WGN Sports, your official summer baseball station, will be Wednesday night against the Reds. It'll be the middle game of the upcoming 3-game set. Phil DeMatre, a left-hander, against lefty Ted Lilly, who will search for his 14th win. 7 o'clock Central Time will hit the air, our 60th year of bringing you Cubs baseball on WGN Sports. Baseball like it ought to be. Once again, our final score today, the Rockies 6, the Cubs 3. So for Bob Brenly, Pete Thomas, Skip Ellison, Mark Brady, Bob Vorwald, and our entire crew, this is Len Casper saying goodbye from Denver. We'll see you back in the friendly confines. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Chicago Cubs baseball brought to you by Budweiser, who thanks you for being a designated driver. Your Chicagoland Dodge dealers. The Illinois Lottery. No matter how you play the Illinois Lottery. Have a ball. by Pepsi. Your world, your Pepsi. And by Southwest Airlines. Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, Southwest can get you there with over 3,000 nonstop daily flights to over 60 destinations. Visit southwest.com today.
Like I said, we live in a society where the individual ego and the group dynamic are in constant struggle.
Response? Yeah, I have a response. What?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Nobody said this was going to be easy.
Now, see, if Geico.com had taken that approach instead of telling everyone it's so easy a caveman can do it, I wouldn't be having an existential meltdown right now.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Whipped scream.
So why did you do that, Eric? Eh? So your eyes hurt?
Nothing is safe from the terrifying twosome. Trains.
Your trains. Your car mats.
Car mats.
Kirsten's clothes.
Kirsten's clothes.
Your bed.
The bed.
All over the walls.
The walls.
Hey, what do you think you're doing? I'm making a tape of this so Mommy can see it later.
The critics call Whipped Scream terrifying, horrifying, scarier than beaches. Whipped Scream. Rated R for really sticky.
Make it all nice the way I want it.
In the playroom, no one can hear Whipped Scream.
What you're doing today, Dan? Bike riding.
You know, there are many milestones in a child's life. Their first steps, losing their first tooth, learning how to ride a two-wheeled bike. Parents, don't you look back and wish you had videotaped all of your child's special moments? Now, little Timmy here has a message for you.
No more videotaping!
adorable.